You can't even do that if you try. Because I mean, I got to go, man. I'll talk to you later. Hey, guys. What up? My name is Jay Tate. And I am the publisher / Commodore at auburnsports.com, which you may know because you may have seen this show before. However, for those of you who are new to the show, I'm the publisher at Commodore at auburnsports.com. It is a Tuesday evening, officially now, in the Central Time Zone, and we're watching the Auburn Tigers take on the hated Vanderbilt Commodores from Memorial Gymnasium, which I just call Memorial Gym. Of note, Chris Moore is starting in place of Chad Baker-Mazara. BP said before the game on the radio that this was because CBM was having a shoulder problem or something. I don't know. I don't buy it. I think it's just because Chad got in trouble last game because he told BP he wasn't going to get in trouble anymore, and he got teched up, and that's just how I feel about it. But that's just an opinion. We got to get going. We're right into the game already. Feel like a stranger jumps in with a super chat, my man. The legend himself. It says, word up, Let's Love Drainers, Swoogans, and Tates. Let's go back to just get back on track in Nashville. Should have a big advantage inside. Absolutely. They have some real issues inside, like feel like a stranger was mentioning. So I'm expecting Auburn to have a big edge in rebounding. Vanderbilt is not a big team, but they do rebound pretty well. So my thought is that if Auburn pays attention to positioning on the defensive end and really kind of focus on boxing out, they can win this game by 10 from a rebounding perspective, and that hurts Vanderbilt. Again, very aggressive team. Not the kind of physical goonmanship that we saw from Florida, but these guys will bring it, and I expect Auburn to be able to repel that. Here's Janai with his first post-up move of the game. He missed it, but Simo got it back in there. I've already changed the graphics, but I forgot to change the numbers. My bad, y'all. Thank you, Feel Like a Stranger. You're an absolute legend, and you're always here with us, almost always the first one to jump in. Also, T-Park, who we love from the greater Atlanta area, jumps in with a super chat to say, rebound tonight equals prep for number 1 versus number 2. Ward Amigo JG. I would argue, T-Park, it's going to be number 1 against number 1 in that game this weekend. I think you can make arguments. Goose Flat says he got to take his driver's ed students to hear Philip Lutzenkirchen's dad speak today. You often forget how great he was. Has there ever been any talk about retiring his number? I have not heard that. I would be open to the concept, and 43 will always be his number, whether they put it down or not, or put it up in the rafters. You know what I mean? Lutzenkirchen was a pretty special kid. All right, Auburn's doing a really nice job defensive rebounding so far, have limiting Vanderbilt's opportunities to just 1 per trip. Now, that's something that Coach Sonny Smith would be a very, very big fan of. He, as you know, 2 things that really drove him crazy, which was stickbacks and letting the opponent score with the clock stopped. I saw a player on Auburn's scout team wearing the 99 yesterday, and I was like, is there really a guy who wears 99? And there is. That's pretty cool. GW says, how about my prophecy over a month ago when I called for number 1 versus number 2 for Iron Bowl of basketball? I'm a bad man. All right. I don't remember that, but I bet you did. I know you're not. I'm not trying to say you're full of poop or anything. You're not. I'm just saying. I just don't remember it. That's all. Here's a scouting report for Vanderbilt. You can see some red there, and their 3-point defense is pretty bad. It's one of the worst in the country, which tells me when it's a team that's not super big, that they should be quick enough to do that, and they just don't, for whatever reason, tend to close out on 3-point shooters. Must be what's going on. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if that's a trend that affects this game as well. It looks to me like their 3-point coverage has been pretty good. Now, Denver just splashed one. That was a good look. That was a quality look right there. Passing, zipped around the perimeter, and he had a nice little spot there. So Auburn with another defensive rebound. I don't think Vanderbilt's had a second chance opportunity yet. We'll talk a little bit more about Simo, I guess. He was running with the ones in practice yesterday, and I kind of interpreted that as he would start. Of course, you guys know there's a permanent embargo on stuff we see in practice. Denver with another one.
He's heating up.
Denver comes out and just says, here you go. Here's a couple threes. Right in the gut. Yabo says, bet Denver has a night to make up for last game. You're right. We couldn't give him a low enough grade for the way that he played in the Florida game. But he has definitely come out a man on a mission in this game. There is no doubt about it. Whoa, that's not a foul. Here comes Auburn in transition. Denver just says, hell with it, man. Put one up from about 28 feet. Uh-oh. Denver. I'm sorry, Miles. Yeah, they're going to have to call a timeout. Jan Van Brendikoff is going to have to call a timeout right here, and he did. Whoever the new coach is. There's actually a guy named Byington. But wow, Auburn likes shooting in this arena. I can't tell you how many times through the years we have written like a story, or I had to write a story when I was at the newspaper. It's so hard to shoot in this gym because there's so much space behind the backboards in Memorial Gym. It really looks like an opera house, honestly, if you guys have been in there. There's a ton of room behind it's almost like you're in like the Superdome or something, where there's just a mile and a half of space. And I think for some shooters it's a problem, but apparently Auburn not having that problem at all tonight. Scott C says, any chance of a shutout? That would be amazing. I was watching, this has nothing to do with what's going on in the game currently, but I was watching practice yesterday with a guy, and he was like, man, Turtle can really shoot it. I said, I've been saying this for a long time. Nobody listens to me. Maybe we have to see Turtle have a chance to kind of show some of that range tonight. My man, Stu Pups, jumping in with the super chat, says, Auburn coming out pissed, and I love it. My man, I don't want to give you a laugh or an applause on that one. I just appreciate you, bro. And as we know, Stu Pup is the father now, officially, of a very gifted and up-and-coming orator, which would be someone who speaks. His son competed in a 4-H tournament with a presentation last week or the week before, and that's tough business, man. That's tough to do. I'm kind of in the business of talking for a living, and it's dangerous, anxious for me when I get in front of a big group like that. It's tough. Small Victory says, will we see Howard? My guess is that you will see Howard today. He was practicing in the regular rotation in practice yesterday, which is not normal for him. Typically, the way Auburn, when they're doing scouts, they have the first team, they have a second team that they rotate in and out as like a full like 5-man posse. So it's like 10 total players getting reps with the scout team. Kai was in there yesterday, so I would think he's going to have an opportunity to play for sure. CJ says that Vandy student going to commercial was very, very mad. Mike says, JGT with the very old school Vandy reference. What's next? The F Troop. Yes, the Jan Van Brendikoff. I used to spell his name wrong, too. It's a tricky one. Travis J jumps in back after a big super chatting performance last week. The working man. That's what he is. I need to get the working man sound for you. I'll love JG War Eagle. Horace greater than Turtle 3-pointer. No. I love me some Horace Spencer now, but Turtle can actually make it rain. Like now, granted, it's in practice, and we haven't seen that on the game floor yet, really, and with any kind of consistency. But Horace just simply couldn't shoot threes. By the way, we've got our first switch here. You've got Tahad in there, you've got Chaney in there, and you've got Chad Baker-Mazara with no limiting factor on his shoulders that we can see. BP, of course, said on the radio before the game that Chad was not in the starting lineup due to a shoulder injury, and I don't know. I haven't heard a word about any shoulder injuries. I think he just got I think it's a punitive measure for him getting disqualified from the Florida game. Or was it the Florida? It was the Oklahoma game, wasn't it? Yeah, never mind. I don't know what it is. I don't think he was hurt. He didn't look hurt to me. Auburn with another defensive rebound. Vanderbilt again just getting no second chance opportunities. Tahad's going to float in there and splash one. That was nice. 15-0 right now. This is one of those kinds of starts where, like, you know, you get this thing up to like 20, and you just, like, Vanderbilt will never be able to come back from it. Like, you've already won the game in a way. I mean, you got to finish it out, but I don't think Vanderbilt has what it takes to really play from behind too much. They're just not. I mean, their offense doesn't stink. It's just they don't really have one thing that they're good at. Like, But I will say this, they're a lot better if you watch them on tape a little bit, way better than they were. Look how far out they're hedging on those screens, dude. Jeez Louise. Boy, Chad had really good extension on that three-point shot. I thought those usually he can make them rain. All right, let's see how. So remember in the Florida game, Auburn's framing was extremely aggressive. Framing is where you've got some kind of a machination out here on the wing. They just did a DHO right there. And Auburn was framing it. It's the way you handle those, the way you pressure them. Auburn was frenetic with its pressure. Look at that. Auburn's defense on that possession was insane. I think they were trying to do that dropout roll that Florida was trying a little bit with Auburn last week on that last possession, Vanderbilt, and it didn't work. The big was not paying attention to what he was supposed to be doing. That is not going to work. And they scored, of course. When I say that, I like jinxed them. You don't usually see like a little guard like that post up Chad and actually get it done. Daniel D says, Jay, are you glad Durkin got an extension? I'm not glad personally, but I think it was absolutely deserved. I think he's outstanding. I was talking to a longtime former NFL coach and college coach who keeps a close eye on the SEC. I was talking to him earlier about this, and he was of the opinion that Durkin deserved a raise, but maybe not one that was quite that big. He got essentially double what he was making before, although they got him on a budget, I thought, coming in. So for him to actually get double, it's probably more like he's closer to in line with what he's probably worth now. This coach I was talking to thinks that Durkin hasn't done enough to deserve that much money, but he's also an old guy, so you know how old guys are. Tim joking about A.J. Hogard, the kind of semi-portly guard that came over to Vanderbilt from Michigan State. Talking a little bit of junk before this game. Nothing real bad, just kind of, the talk nationally is that this Auburn-Alabama game that's setting up for Saturday is going to be an absolute clash of the Titans, and that is the second possession, Tanner, buddy. That was a terrible shot. That's 2 possessions out of 3 that Vanderbilt has had a pathetic shot attempt, like really bad. It's like Kendrick versus Drake type shot, like real bad. Oh, here we go. We got a little. Take that shot, Dylan. You can hit a 7-footer. Come on. That is really nice. That is nice. Just a very technically gifted move right there. I like that. Get his man leaning one way, spin it the other way, use your body to crease him out, and then just lay it up with the left hand is really nice technical work there. He's been doing some extra film work lately with Burgo, taking a look at some of the ways that he can kind of increase his ability, his scoring potential, I guess. Ambitious says Kareem hook by Dylan. I bet he would love to hear you say that. Part of the reason they love calling him Cap, part of the reason is that that was the nickname for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he was with the Lakers. And he was kind of like the old man captain. It's a really nice move, though. All right. So now we are to our first. Yabo says Dylan looked a little like JB on that one. I like that. Yeah, Janai definitely has some of those moves in his arsenal. And he is obviously a very, very bad man. All right, time for some hot, fresh stats. By the way, Don Daly and Doug Shows are the main guys today. Lucas Santos, who I'm not familiar with, is also part of that crew. Everybody always assumes it's going to be one of the bad crews, one of the camera hogging crews, I'll put it that way, but it's not tonight. It probably will be for Alabama. But Don Daly's been doing this a long time, and you don't hear much bitching about him, which is probably the best compliment you can give an official. 17-4, the Auburn Tigers are ahead. 7 of 13 from the floor so far. Vanderbilt, 2 of 10. Auburn's rebounding +3. If Casadipe, I don't think I've seen him here yet. He might still be down in the Caribbean sipping Mai Tais, but +3 on the rebounding. Yeah, he's going to be happy about that. 0 assists and 5 turnovers for Vanderbilt. That's a number that they're not going to like. 2 assists and 1 turnover for the Auburn Tigers. So, long story short, things going really well for the Tigers at this point. Shooting the ball well, rebounding the ball well, defending the ball well. Oh, snap. Oh, I hope he's not really hurt, is he? Maybe that was just a basic rollover. This Tennessee-Kentucky game's got me interested. Some of my UK fans are – actually, there's one UK fan in the group chat today was talking smack about this Auburn-Alabama game. I was like, man, these Kentucky people, man, they get so upset when they're not the Blue Bloods anymore. I'm telling you, they get real upset. GW says, just an FYI, Jay loves it when people talk trash about the Raiders in the chat. By the way, no, I don't actually. I only like it when you do it. I won't be drinking today because I got accused on the board today of I made a moderation decision that High Cotton 2 did not like, so therefore he went immediately to the card of Jay's drunk. I'm like, because I drink like 1 or 2 on the course of a 3-hour show, some people draw the conclusion that I'm a complete boozed up alcoholic all the time. So I'm just not going to drink anymore on the show. We'll just drink water. And I know Cleveland Brown will be satisfied and good with that. Got to stay nice and hydrated. Lots and lots and lots of SEC teams probably going to make the SEC tournament. I'm sorry, the NCAA tournament this year. 13 projected to be in there. Look at Cap. He wasn't even ready for the pass, but he still got it and still got the
boom shakalaka.
Yes, sir. He's having a nice start again. I feel like we're doing this like every week now where Dylan's, giving you a little bit more on the scoring end. I mean, there was a time where his typical line was like 2 points and 10 rebounds or whatever. And now you're getting like 8 to 10 out of him. I mean, guys, I'm not saying he's the greatest player ever. He's not. He needs to be like Dennis Rodman. Uh-oh. Little turnover by Denver there. Oh, that was a nice second chance opportunity dunk right there for Vanderbilt. Yowzers. That was nice. He got up on that. Yabo says, don't let people accusing you of drunkenness ruin a good time, Jace. That's a bad precedent. My thought was, I've been drinking age for 30 years or whatever. Oh, was that Tahad? I think it was. Splash. Tahad, a little sweet jumper over there from the wing. Vanderbilt just looks a little frenetic on the attacking end, and they need to get number 3 off the floor. He's bad. Auburn's got him in some kind of way here. He's just like over-revved. Look at that. That shot right there was just dog shit, man. He's had 2 or 3 already that are like me playing. Whoa. Todd got in a bad cul-de-sac there, but got away from it. Look at the passing pace. Look at this. Look at Denver. Hit that. It's just short. We got a turtle watch. Turtle's in the game here. So your big is Turtle/Dylan. You still got Chad winging it with Tahad and Denver. It's an interesting lineup. I actually kind of like it, though. I think Chad tipped that in. (22-11), is that right? Or is it 22-10? 22-11. I got it right. It looked like a foul against Tahad, but I guess it wasn't. Let's see. Stoop Up says Dylan should be able to get 8 points and 8 boards a night. He's capable. I would be willing to take 4 points and 13 boards, but I just need him to be Dennis Rodman, GW says you just think you ain't going to drink. Hugh Freeze will make us all alcoholics so he stays at Auburn much longer. That's funny. I feel like a stranger says that Stephen Pearl was mad at Cardwell earlier for a slow closeout on a few plays ago. They were I think there was some lingering frustration from the Florida game with some slow closeouts from bigs. That would be against Dylan and Janai and Cheney. So as a group, they were getting hearing a little bit about that one. I mean, to be fair, Denver. Splash. Man, he's been great tonight. Was he 3 for 3? No, he's 3 for 4 now from 3-point range. That's good stuff. Wow, great switch right there for Janai to take to pick up that roller. Really nice. Look at this. Miles Kelly's kind of running this show right here. I like that. Now, he played some point at Georgia Tech, so he's not a complete stranger to that concept. I'm not liking this little fake, I don't know what you would call the official term for it, that little retrace screen type action. They've run it twice already, and Vanderbilt's the guy who's defending the big is kind of pushing up on the big and putting his hand in there. It's just not working. And that's something they put in specifically for this game because I haven't seen that lately. At least I can't remember it, actually. It's kind of like a dummy action or something. It ain't working. Ephesians says, how good was Stephen Pearl as a player? He was good. I mean, he was good. He was like a role player for a very good Tennessee, a series of Tennessee teams. I don't know how his... Oh, man, Cheney with a beautiful turnaround, a little hook action there. I don't know if we've had I don't know if there's a player on this team that would equate to what Steven was. I mean, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, he's kind of like Simo. That was a nice drive right there. He's kind of like Simo, but he was a different kind of player. But it's the same role, you know. He was a very fierce player. Ambitious. I would argue that it wasn't on either one of them. He's talking about the turnover on that little dummy action. I just think it's a bad idea. I don't. It's like a no look. It's like a design no look. And even though Broom isn't really thirsting for the ball maybe the way you'd like to see it, I still just don't like the concept against. I mean, it's not working right now. So let's just shelf that one and worry about something else. Auburn's got plenty. You know, in the course of a scout, when they're implementing plays for a team like this, you know, they're adding anywhere from 7 to 12 maybe machinations. And so they've got plenty of other things. All right, we move. These are the new hot fresh stats. As you guys already know, Auburn's up 10. 11 of 19 from the floor, 58%. I think they will take that all day long. Rebounding still +3, same as where they were. 4 assists and 4 turnovers for the Auburn Tigers is not great. Vanderbilt is 1 assist and 5 turnovers, so they got some stability in that segment. By the way, we need to do our segment situation there. Segment 1, Auburn. Segment 2, to me, was probably even. So we'll see what segment 3 brings. I feel like a stranger says Stephen Pearl was better than you would think. Simo crossed with Lior. That's probably a better. He definitely had some Lior because he was more of a 2. And Simo's kind of a weird player, but I spent like role, you know, like just hard worker. I don't know, just playing that role. Damon says, I wonder how much Broom's injury is still lingering since he seems to be having issues around the goal. I mean, I don't know. BP was kind of talking about that a little bit the other day, that, you know, there's some lingering trouble with that ankle, but I mean, like in practice, you know, you don't notice it at all. And then you get in games and it seems like we kind of notice it a little bit. I mean, he's not a guy who's real explosive, quick twitch kind of guy, so I don't know. There's Janai and Cheney preparing to come in. Maybe Simo there as well. There's Clark Pearson, briefly. His head sticking in that gray hair of his. Of course, I'm not making fun of him because I would have gray hair if I didn't color it. He's also a University of Kentucky graduate. I meant to talk to him about that this week, but I didn't. All right, we got SEMO coming out for show. Maine says something a little off with Broom. It seemed like he lost a little touch around the basket. Not a big problem, but seems that way right now. Yeah, now that's more like it, I think. I think maybe his timing got messed up a little bit by being out. But the truth is that he was still practicing even when he was out with the injury. We'll keep an eye on Broom. I'm not aware of any, like, viruses or anything like that going through the team right now, so... I mean, nobody missed practice yesterday. Oh, Janai's passing is not having any problems. That was a delicious split pass right there. Split a double team to hit Denver on the way in. And Denver's already got himself in double digits, I reckon. Yeah, he's probably well over double digits now. 12 points for him. Yeah, I feel like a stranger. I just noticed that. He said, seems like Stephen Pearl is really on their ass. Stephen is up and Adam, big time. It's kind of a different coaching paradigm when you're on the ends like you are at Vanderbilt. And maybe they just kind of take turns because Stephen has a very booming voice when he wants to have it. It's also interesting to see BP kind of rolling around the horn there and starting to kind of move down the sideline a little bit. Maybe just to kind of change the angle and more closely assimilate the way that it is in a regular game, you know? Yeah, Yabo says, I love it when Broom is distributing. This man's got eyes. He really has great eyes. Such an amazing passer, and he's the top assist man on the team, which really says something because this team scores a lot. Yeah, Tahad got a little. That's on Tahad. That's a false step. That's one false step, and he had nobody behind him to help him, and that's just on Tahad. He's got to be smarter about that. He just played him a little bit to the wrong hand, and then he zipped around on his right, and he was gone. Yeah, MC Tigger says a great point regarding bench coaches. It's back when I covered Kentucky in the 90s, they were complaining about it then. It's just such an unusual look at Tahad. He's on the wrong side. He can't defend that guy to his left. There's another one of those pushes like we've been talking about with Janai that just doesn't look right. Looked like he was leaning in, like kind of leaning in instead of jumping in to that position. And he's a bad looking shot and yuck. That didn't look good. Oh, Janai just shoved that guy right in the chest. He did get hit to start with, to be fair. Oh, Chaney. All right, they got a foul called on it. Yeah, Tahad. I think Tahad, honestly, Yabo, what happened was I think they were going to try to ice, or Tahad thought they were going to try to ice that screen is the only thing I can imagine as to why he would position himself so far to that guy's inside that he thought somebody was coming from behind to trap that ball, and there wasn't anybody there, and so it just got away from him really fast. That's my guess is that's just a misdiagnosis of what was called there. You know, Auburn does a lot of that where they kind of frame those wing screens. Janai just dribbled it out of bounds. Yeah, Damon, I think you might be right, brother. In practice, they don't do the same things that they do in games. I don't know how else to put it. The drills that they go through and stuff. So I wouldn't, you watch practice and you don't necessarily know that Janai's having any problem. Wow, that's a good trap. Miles and Chad all over that guy. And I think Tanner's a real liability. If I was a Vanderbilt fan, I would freaking hate him being out there. I feel like he doesn't do anything good except panic. Spicy Pieces, Jay, what's the deal with Chad? Clearly something is going on. I guarantee you there's nothing going on with him like teamologically. I promise you. Watching him at practice, he's in a great mood. His teammates are, he's jiving with his teammates and everything's going fine. D Lucky texting me. No, that's D in Atlanta. My bad. So when they were up 13-0, they missed the extra point that loomed large against Vanderbilt and Tubbs last year. That's pretty funny. Wow, number 99 actually got a good shot out of that. Janai's got to get that rebound, bro. There's another opportunity right there that Janai kind of screwed up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I think CBM might just be a little bit out of rhythm. But I don't think anything nefarious is going on. I don't think he's injured. I don't think he's in the doghouse. I think he's just having a little bit of a slump. Man, that's another slap ball out of bounds. It goes against Auburn. It's kind of the luck of the draw, I guess. Yeah, TM Taco, Chad went out of the game against, was it Florida? I think it was Florida game. Was it the Florida game? The days get away from me, guys. He got kind of rushed off the floor in one of the recent games. But again, I just don't think that's really what it is. But I'm not a physician, so as you guys know, I'm a Commodore. Well, not a Vanderbilt Commodore. I'm a AuburnSports.com Commodore. Oh, that was a nice pass right there. Good golly, man. Nice pass from Vanderbilt. All right, so if we're being real about it, I'm probably going to have to give Vanderbilt this segment. Actually, that would be this is segment 4, isn't it? So I'm giving Auburn segment 1. I'm going Ty on segment 2. I'm going Auburn slightly in segment 3, and then we're going to have to end up giving this one to Vanderbilt. They played really nice this segment. Yeah, Yabo says they've gotten the lead down to 4. WTH, I feel like the second chance opportunities have been a bigger problem. That Auburn's defensive rebounding hasn't been as good. And the execution on the offensive end seems like it's bogged down, that they've been trying to accentuate the inside guys, which makes sense to me from a personnel standpoint. But it's that's just a Denver turnover right there. I like that the floor wipe guy's going to try to pick up the point guard there. They need to pay him more. That's right. Desperado remembers that Chad got hit in the head by Dylan, of all people. Yeah, they were going up for a rebound there on the left side of the screen. So, but he's not wearing I don't think that's what's bothering him. I think what's bothering him, he's just in a slump. It happens sometimes. (29-25) after the 13-0 start for the Auburn Tigers. Not great. Oh, man. Simo almost got him. Oh, Dylan with a swat. I'll probably go down as a steal, actually. But, yeah. Dylan was open. Good second chance opportunity here with the offensive rebound from Dylan. Dylan calling for them to reset, which is smart. Oh, great screen. Is that another out of bounds going? All right, so that's the we're at the 3:59 mark. Ambitious engineer calling for Kai Howard to come in. T-Roy says, I know Janai's vertical is higher than 18 inches. I would like to see it one day, my man. All right, let's get some hot, fresh stats in here. We're starting to kind of see that, Dylan. Well, let me rephrase that. Janai and CBM not as strong as they usually are. And Dylan's been playing a little bit better. So it kind of looks like, Dylan's kind of filling that hole there, but he ain't going to fill no Janai Broom hole. You know what I mean? That guy's too good. He can give you 10 points maybe, but that's about it. A good night from Janai is 25. So let's see what we're looking at here. Auburn's 12 of 25 from the floor, so 48%. You're still good with that. That's a number you're fine with. 44% defensively, that's not awful. Rebounding is now even, so Auburn has conceded its lead there. 5 assists and 5 turnovers is just straight up not getting it for Auburn. That's below what I would expect Auburn to be doing at this point. 2 assists and 6 turnovers is good. Auburn will take that all day long. 5 steals for Vanderbilt. 1 block and 3 steals for the Auburn Tigers. Second chance opportunity officially are about even. Second chance points, Vanderbilt's up 1. 4-0 Auburn. 4-0 Vanderbilt on the fast break. Auburn has 0 fast break points tonight. That's one of the tricks I think people are using against Auburn is that they really accentuate transition defense to get back because they know how quick Auburn gets out and moving. So I think that's something that people have been paying close attention to. Scott C. says, what Auburn player did Justin Powell run into that ended his Auburn career? That's a great trivia question, and it's one that I can't remember the answer to. I can't remember it. Legit says team started playing like they're playing a cupcake. I think they just need to tighten up. I don't think they're necessarily taking it wrong. Let's see what we got here. Oh, it did hit Simo's right hand on the way out of bounds. That's just the Stoop up. Not a Rush fan, but also making the reference to 21-12. I like it. My bad. But still, there's a pattern you see every game. We go up big and then we sleepwalk for a while. It's going to get you beat in a game that you don't want to lose. Yeah, first of all, you're right. It's happened a bunch this year. It's usually not. Oh, Chaney with the double move. Nice. Drop. That was nice, man. He's really stepping up his game there, showing a little more versatility with the way that he's attacking the rim there. I like that. Dylan. See, a lot of these teams they think they should be able to take Dylan, I think, and then they realize that he's good with his positioning and he doesn't reach too much. And it changes the way that you have to attack it. But normally you get a 3 on a 5 like that and you feel good about your chances, but I thought Dylan was going to get that one. It was the birth of an amazing move right there, and then it just kind of went sideways. I feel like a stranger is pulling for more Chaney touches. I think you're on the right track there. He looks good tonight. It looks like he's ready to go. Damon Case is on the ticker that Trey Donaldson has 9 points for Michigan. Thumbs up. We like that. We're fans here on the channel. The Brain Drainers. We're fans, I should say, of Trey Donaldson for sure. Good player, fun player, could be frustrating at times, but certainly fearless. Auburn getting beat on a back screen right there, and BP's fucking inconsolate there. He hates that so much. Florida got him a few times on that. It was a back screen type situation, but it's a little different. They're basically bailing out of a DHO wing screen. Oh, an ambitious drive from Denver. He couldn't get it to fall, though. I still think that's about a 10% shot. Oh, man. Real Madrid gets 3 against 2 for Man City. Love to see it. With Jude Bellingham scoring late. Nice. Patrick B says Dylan is dunk or bust. Well, no, there's occasions where he will make a nice little move. If you saw his first bucket of the game, I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but it was really nice, and it was neither of those. It was like kind of an old man move inside. It was really, really nice. One of the best buckets I've seen from him individually. Look at Dylan, man. He's so versatile the way he's able to get out there and attack those screens 25 feet from the bucket and still be useful, you know. Looking for a play here. Having to look all the way down at the other end of the court, but that's all right. So does Vanderbilt. Chad was wide open, and he can't get more open than that. Bricked it. Let's see. Stoop Up says that last possession is exactly what I'm talking about. Did not value the ball, and let's get something better. Are you talking about the Chad shooting the three? It was early in the shot clock, but I like the quality of the shot itself. Now, that's a rhythm shot for Denver. You know what's happening there. Splash. If he gets that rhythm shot, dude, I bet he's 60 or 75%. 60 to 75%. If he just gets that rhythm shot from three, he's damn near automatic. But you have to have him in rhythm. That pass was perfect. It was from that pass from Dylan hit him low, and he was able to just immediately go up and shoot. When he's in rhythm like that, he's a mess. It's nice. Maybe it was Chad. I said Dylan. Might have been Chad on the assist there. Supa was talking about the Jones layup and not the CBM 3. You talking about that loop-de-loop? I didn't like that either. Of course, if he'd hit it, it would have been all over social media, but you know what I mean. Yeah. I don't know why Tahad is slapping at him there. That's not something you see from Auburn defenders very much. They don't teach them that. Yeah, Spicy P says something is wrong with Chad. It'll come out eventually. I just don't think there is, but you might be right. I just feel like I'd be able to see it at practice or whatever. I'd see him like not talking to his teammates or just being down or like getting treatment or something, but it's just normal for him. And Chad at practice is like the central. He's the main character, you know. He literally leads like the stretching routines, and he's just always, you know, jabbering and eating candy and cutting up and just bringing a lot of energy, you know. Him and Tahad. Well, for reasons I don't totally understand, Chad was just hell-bent on taking that guy to the hole, and he didn't get there. And he took a mid-ranger, a 7-footer, and missed it. And it looked like Chaney had gotten the offensive rebound and then just kind of, okay. It was a slap ball out of bounds. I know, Desperado, I know he's BP has said that he's banged up, and coaches say stuff all the time that is either not true or partially true. Tubb did it. Chiswick did it constantly. He said that Aaron Savage was day-to-day after he had completely ruptured his Achilles tendon. Aaron Savage needed like 6 weeks to walk right. And meanwhile, Chiswick was calling him day-to-day. Sometimes coaches don't tell the truth about things. Not because they're liars or bad people. It's because it's a gamesmanship. 34-29. Man. I would probably say this segment's been even. Oh, Splash City right there. Oh, I thought Chad was going to be able to bank that one in. That was a quick half. I feel like that was a quick half of basketball. 34-29. No, 34-32. Excuse me, hit that three. That's right. Got to give him credit for that. Wow, 34-32 is a hell of a lot closer than we thought it would be at that point. I mean, considering the way Auburn started, 15-5 run for Vanderbilt to close at, and so we're going to have to definitely give Vanderbilt the edge in that segment. Spicy pizza is disgusting, and I got to say, it was not pretty. 34-32. Again, Auburn was up 13-0 to start this game. Legit says SMH. I'm with you on that. Yabo wants to know about the fouls. So let me get the hot, fresh stats over here, ASAFP, and we will take a gander and see what's up. From a foul perspective, I feel like Vanderbilt has been driving the ball a little more than Auburn, but it's been reasonably close, so I would expect these numbers to be reasonably close as well. Where are you at? Where are you at? There we go. All right, hot fresh stats. Getting posted right now. Personal fouls, 7 against Auburn, 3 against Vanderbilt. I mean, Auburn's done more driving. Auburn's also had some really weird, the distribution of balls that were slammed out of bounds and then went toward Vanderbilt. Like 4 of those on Auburn's attacking end, where they were stuck on the baseline and threw the ball off a shin and got the ball back, or got it switched over for Vanderbilt's ball, or Chaney lost that ball that was tipped out. I feel like there's just a lot of weird things that kind of went against Auburn on the attacking end there. It's just an idea. Maine says Broom has got to start showing up again. He's our best player. He absolutely is. And I'm not sure what to say about that right now. 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting, 2 boards. Just probably his worst half of the season so far at this point. I mean, let's be real about it. And if Denver wasn't having a classic Denver moment here, I mean, Auburn would be in trouble, which is crazy to think about. Now, Vanderbilt has been good at home. Shit, they've been good everywhere, honestly. Well, they got drubbed by Tennessee or Oklahoma, didn't they? But anyway, they've been really good at home. So it's not surprising that Auburn would have some trouble there, but I did honestly think that Auburn would probably be able to put these guys away, but I did not expect to have this kind of a game from Janai. You never do. Blake jumps in with a super chat. My man from the East Coast. There he is. JGT, my man, joining late, but I'm here for the rest of the way. Popped open a bottle of Yellowstone Special Finishes Collection Toasted. Oh, that was gifted to me and celebrate not working until next Tuesday. My man. That is amazing. Just going to be chilling and partying for the next week. I love it. I would really like to have some of that Yellowstone with you, but I got accused on a bunker today of being a drunk, so I better not drink. Lest people think that Jay couldn't even do a whole show without drinking, without pounding bourbon. Jester says weird things happen in that weird gym. That is true. Colby says worst half of Janai's career, and we're up 2. I'll take it. That's fair. That's fair. And Spicy Pieces, Janai and CB Chad have combined for 2 points. That's not winning ball. I agree. Auburn's kind of getting by with spitting toothpicks here. Let's be real about it. Some of the numbers don't look bad on face value. 14 of 32 from the floor at 44% is not awful, but relative to where they were through the first, I don't know what that was, 3 minutes of the game, that's awful. Auburn spent most of this half above 50 and just recently went below 50, and then now they're at 44, so they definitely finished cold. Vanderbilt was on a nice run there late in the half, so that's not great. Rebounding-wise, Auburn is +1. Which surprises me a little bit. Now, Vanderbilt's a good rebounding team despite not having a lot of size, so it's, I think, to a regular observer, probably not, but I thought that Auburn, knowing that Vanderbilt was this way, would have repelled it a little bit better. And I don't mean ropes down the mountain. I'm talking about resisting. Let's see, GW says, JGT can't watch the Chiefs booty blast his Raiders without drinking. Now, that's correct, but I would never do that on air. Otherwise, people like High Cotton 2 would say that I'm nothing but a drunk. Florida, Mississippi State tied late in the first half with Condon out. Of course, Condon was terrific against Auburn the other day. Figures. Gets hurt after he leaves Auburn. Travis J says, we're forgetting Miles Kelly ain't doing nothing. He'll get going. He usually does. 3 points and 1 of 2 shooting. Had a 3-pointer there kind of early. I think it was the 4th or 5th possession, and really not much else after that. Now, from an overall perspective, defensively, you're not upset. You give up 32 to Vanderbilt, which would be I'm not a mathematician here, but approximately 64 points if they were to do the same thing in the second half. Well, you give up 64 from an Auburn perspective, you feel great. You're like, hey, man, we average 80, 85 a game. We got this one in the bag, but not so much. Anthony R. says, what happened to the team that was playing in Maui? I mean, you know how things go, kind of up and down a little bit. Definitely not playing their best basketball right now. The key there is that you just got to find a way to get that form back, and I think it starts with you got to find a way to get Janai into a situation where he's comfortable and confident with the things he's doing, which is a weird concept, right? I mean, Janai Broome, second right now, National Player of the Year, if you look at the Ken Palm ratings. An absolute superstar in the college game. Does he really need confidence? Well, honestly, it kind of looks like he does. And I think some easy buckets for him would be really, really nice. Auburn also, when things are rolling, when they're playing like they were in Maui, they're great in transition. And if you look at them right now, they have 0 points in transition. Now, Vanderbilt only has 4, so that isn't a huge factor in this game. But from my perspective, as somebody that watches Auburn every day, every minute, that's the only team I really watch, they have to get out in transition. That's just who they are and what they do. Don Properdickin, speaking of someone who they are and what they do, Don Properdickin kicking ass, as is customary for him, jumps in and just says drain. We know what that means. I have not seen this commercial. What is going on here? Oh, it's a John Deere commercial. Cool. Anthony R. says it looks like he's still hurt for real. I think he's talking about Janai, but Terrence says, JG, has Broome been practicing? Do you think he has re-injured his ankle or it never fully healed? I mean, yeah, he has been practicing. He practiced with the number ones yesterday and was doing all his usual stuff. He doesn't wear a brace on that ankle or anything like that. I don't see him getting treatment, but I wouldn't necessarily. That's not something that I would be privy to. But the general consensus, just talking to people, is that he's fine. I mean, he's not fine. He's not 100%, but like I don't know. I get that feeling they think he's somewhere in the 80 to 95%, somewhere in that range. But, coming into this game, I would have told you guys, no, I think he's fine. But watching him in this game, he had a shot there, I think his next to last shot of the half, where he was kind of driving in with his right shoulder in, and he's going to kind of do like one of those little, where he's driving into the lane and kind of lays it in with his left hand. He didn't even get up at all. He just kind of looked like he was leaning into the crowd, like he couldn't at all get going. And so he definitely doesn't look right. And Chad is in some kind of a slump. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I think he's just in a slump right now. So guys like Miles Kelly, Denver's been playing great on the attacking end anyway. And I think Tahad has more to give as an attacker as well in this game. So it's going to have to be one of those guys. And Chad, as you guys know, he is kind of up and down. He has had a lot of games this year where he was either, white hot in the first half and then just disappeared in the second half, or he's trash in the first half and he comes back and plays great in the second half. Remember in the Georgia game, he was dog shit the whole first half. Had a huge run there, personal, like 8 minutes, where he had the first 8 minutes of the second half. He was amazing. Essentially carried the team, and then he disappeared again. So he's emotionally, he's kind of up and down, and as a player, he's kind of up and down. Let's see. Yabo says Broome is not 100%, which I would agree with 100%. I would just agree with, but not at heightened risk of injury. So Patrick P says, I haven't been at 100% for several years now. I know the feeling. T-Roy Tiger says, we need some slump busting filets, according to Doc. Where can we find some? Anyone know? I was going to say West Georgia, but you guys, whatever you guys want. If you want to go to Birmingham Southern, that's fine. Whatever. JB Mon says, maybe Chad needs to sit and heal. Heal from what? I don't think he's injured. Bad enough, no offense, but he's just standing flat-footed on D and watching guys get our backs. Yeah, like rebound. I don't think he's hurt, man. I mean, I'm not trying to call BP a liar or anything. I mean, he's probably dealing with like a sore shoulder maybe, but everybody's dealing with something sore right now. I don't think he's like impaired significantly. I think he's just not playing well, and I think BP's trying to kind of help him and make an excuse for him. Kind of like when baseball players, they're in a slump and they say they're going to take the day off because they're having flu-like symptoms, and they just give them a day to kind of work in the cage or whatever. That's what I think is going on. Yabo says, I want Tahad to improve on distributing the rock. I feel like he tries to do it all himself a lot, which is probably just a youth thing. Yeah, I also think it's because that's who he is. Like, he's really a shooting guard or like just a slasher. And he's having to kind of, adjust his game a little bit to provide what the team needs. Now, Denver's having to do the same thing. And a lot of this is because JPP is not a factor at all. And I will have questions about that. Actually, Anthony's just brought that up. Concurrently, he probably actually typed that before I said that. With JP being just an absolute zero right now, it hurts. It does. He was the only true point guard on this roster, so it hurts. And I don't like the answers that I get about JPP. I don't understand. Like, he's definitely not hurt. 100% not hurt. So, like, why doesn't he go in when the walk-ons go in? Like, late in the game, and I asked somebody that, and they were like, he just doesn't really want to do that. I'm like, well, fuck, I don't want to go to work. I mean, I love working for you guys, but believe me, but you know what I mean. Like, my wife doesn't want to go to work. She's going to go to work because that's the job, and you got to do it. Sometimes you just got to be a big boy and do shit. You know what I mean? Or big girl. You know what I mean? Yabo says JPP might be BP's biggest bust. It is absolutely possible. And I don't want to dwell on that because, first of all, I don't know what JPP is going through. There may be something really sinister there that I don't know about. Maybe something happened in his personal life that's really messed him up or whatever. When my sister passed away, I was a mess for like a month, and the bunker was very, very cool about not making me write a lot about softball and stuff and just giving me some space. And maybe that's what's going on there. I don't know. So I try not to be too judgy about it. But I got to believe, you think about like a main player that comes in for Auburn and they just don't even play. Like, yowzers. Patrick T asks about baseball. Is it supposed to be any good this year? Absolutely, yes. They were not very good last year. They weren't awful, but they just weren't good enough. This year, BMAT and Stoltze, who follow a whole lot of baseball year-round because they love Butch, and Butch is just great to deal with. They know a lot about the team, and they think this team's going to take a big step forward. But a big step forward for Auburn would be finishing the season in the middle of the pack, which would still get you to the College World's, the tournament. But they think the general consensus is they have enough options at pitcher this year. They have enough options at pitcher this year, and they got enough hitters. So that's the thought. Real Deal is with us now. We give Real Deal an applause. Glad to have you here, bro. CJ says softball, I can see a marked improvement at the plate, but pitching is a question mark. I think question mark is being very nice. The word on the street about these new coaches, the Malvos, is that they are really good coaches and good folks, but they can't recruit. And I don't know that they have anybody with them that's a good recruiter. So that would be my concern if I was a majorly invested Auburn softball fan, as CJ is. And I don't love their pitching options right now. The girl they got from Oklahoma, it's like, wow, you got her from Oklahoma. That's a great place to take players from. But, she pitched literally a handful of innings. And she was the greatest player in the country as an 8th grader or 9th grader or something. And I don't think she is that way as a college player. But college athletics is loaded with players that maybe didn't turn out at a certain place and they go somewhere else and they're terrific. Chad Baker Mazzara played it. Well, maybe you guys don't want to talk about him right now. But he was just okay at Duquesne, and he played pretty well at San Diego State, and he was a PPTPer big time for the first 2 months of this season. It happens. Daniel D says Florida is losing at Mississippi State at halftime, so that's big. Let's see. CJ thinks that this softball crew can recruit. So, okay. I'll be curious to see who's right 5 years from now, because the guy I'm talking to would know a lot about it. But you also know a lot about it too, so that's fair. Let's see. Patrick P says Bruce's recruiting has been off the past couple years. He knocks it out of the park with one guy per class, but then loses the other 2 or 3 at the end of their freshman year. Not sustainable. I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, he's had some huge wins. I mean, Janai is a massively good player, right? I mean, he's one of the best players ever to play at Auburn. All right, we're back playing. Let's just say all you got to do is get 5-10% better this half, and you get out of here with an 8-point win, a 10-point win, a 12-point win, and you just move on. The first shot of the half is Simo.
He's on fire!
We give him a he's on fire if he scores at all. Simo, a little teardrop from inside the free throw line. Did not see that coming. I don't think Vanderbilt did either. Dylan's going to force a tie-up right out of the break. That was pretty sweet. You love to see your center forcing a tie-up 30 feet from the bucket. That's a hell of a job, man. Ambitious Engineer says, we talking about recruiting and we got the number 1 team. I don't want to, we're not going too far off the deep end here. Anthony Yard makes a point that Auburn wasn't able to hold on to LeBaron Phelan, which is true. Neither could Kansas, but you know how it is. I think a lot of LeBaron as a player. He's really good. Yabo says Simo walks in the game and he gets a heat. He's heating up. I mean, seriously, dude, we're just having fun with it, though. Denver with another bucket. Getting things started off on the right foot there. Was that a triple? I didn't realize it was a triple. My bad. I was yabbering. Yes, it was. Assist to Dylan Cardwell. Let's give him a retroactive splash. Let's see. Scotty Pieces, I imagine he's referring to BP's high school recruiting. Well, I mean, to be fair, that losing Flory Badunga last time was just brutal. They spent so many years and so much time recruiting Flory, and for him to just go to Kansas. I know when we look at it, we go Kansas, of course, but they tried so hard. I mean, you look at them, yeah, the big wins are definitely portal wins, right? I mean, Denver was a good portal win. Janai was a massive portal win over Todd Golden. Miles was a good portal win. I'm not sure everybody saw the genius there, although I think he's a good player. I mean, Dylan's been here forever. Tahad was a high school guy. Turtle was, he's kind of a glue guy. Chad, I think a lot of people were scared off by Chad's antics. And then Chaney, yeah, there were people coming after Chaney. But I mean, he was going to go to Auburn. Like, he just is a perfect culture fit for this place. I mean, Chaney's like disposition, attitude is just like perfect Auburn. Like, he just belongs here. Are they going to try to give Janai a foul away from the ball on the offensive end? That's unusual. CJ was worried about a flagrant one there. I guess it just ended up being a common foul. It didn't look particularly mean, but you know how it is. These replays don't really tell you anything anymore. I feel like these officials adjudicate kind of randomly, like they're just rolling dice sometimes. Wow, look at Dylan, man. Man, what an absolute beast. And he's going to help the guy up. Wow, what a defensive move here. First of all, he's staying with him the whole way. block, and then he helped the guy up. Unbelievable. Jesse says this team plays with too much immaturity and emotion at times, just like last year. And that's what got them bounced. It'll get them bounced again if they don't start being more careful. I would just argue that they're kind of up and down a little too much. I don't necessarily know that it's immaturity, but I know what you're saying. You're talking about how it's just, it's you would expect a team this experienced to kind of be the same group day after day. Much earlier in my career, I covered Kentucky, as I mentioned on this show, I don't know what the word is, all the time. And the Kentucky teams that I covered, specifically the 98 team that won the national title, it was an experienced team that pretty much every game out, they were the same group, you know? This Auburn team is, he even missed that. First of all, amazing pass from Chad, a very ambitious pass, like a parabolic skip pass. I don't know if you'd call that a skip pass, really. Perfectly on target, but Janai has absolutely got to get that ball in. Chris H says agreed. Super up and down. Going 4 minutes plus without scoring is bad. You're absolutely right. You expect more from a team this experienced and frankly this good from a consistency perspective. And I mean, a lot of the teams that are experienced like this, they don't have these up and downs. Yeah, right now, a great point. Somebody was asking about Chad. Denver with a nice little shot right there.
Drop.
Chad is playing 2 right now. With Simo at the wing, Janai and Dylan playing bigs. That is a bad basketball play by Chad Baker-Mazara. Okay, no, it was actually, was that? I guess that foul's on. I guess it was on Simo, actually. No, it was a foul on Chad. Yeah, Yabo says these offensive rebounds. I don't know what to tell you on that one. Simo was positioned correctly. And he just gave up a rebound over top of himself. And then Chad comes in and just like swats a guy for no reason. Like, what? All right, you got to take Chad out. Get Chad out of there, man. Oh, man. Vanderbilt's ahead now. I know my score doesn't reflect that, but I'm about to change it right now. Dude, BP is all the way like in his normal spot. Look at him. Look how far down the side he is. Another 3-point shot from Janai. I don't like the quality there, Stoop Up. I know you've been a little bit critical of some of the shot quality in this game, and I have to say that was part of it too, right there. Another offensive rebound, another stick back. Just can't allow that. I know, ambitious engineer, man. I grew up watching Kentucky with Rick Pitino, and when his teams played like this, he would let them just soak in it. He did not call timeouts. He just let them figure it out. And particularly when you got a team this old and this experienced, I would be tempted to just let them figure it out. He'd be like, guys, I've already taught you everything you know to get out of this. Stop giving up second chance points. AU Taxman says way too many easy buckets. You're absolutely right about that. Let's see how Auburn's doing on the layups tonight. 3 of 5 on layups. They're 5 of 9. Janai looks like he's going to start going to the line to score, which is fine. Hey, man, points are points. Points are points. I think Depeche Mode sang that in 1985. Points are points, so why should it be? Chennai missed the second. So 43-45 Vandy. You got Miles Kelly in there now. Got a turnover there. Denver's getting the ball tipped out from behind a little too much today. D. Lucky says too much watching. I think you're right. Too much passivity on that defensive rebounding end. I don't understand it. I could promise you, for firsthand knowledge, that BP and the staff were telling them that this is what was going to happen if they didn't pay attention. That Vanderbilt, I think that Auburn goes out there, the players, and they look at this Vanderbilt team and they say, "Hey, man, these guys are not real big. They're not real long. We're just gonna manhandle them." And that's not the way they play, man. I mean, they play hard. Oh God, that was a nice shot, dude. I didn't think it was gonna go. He did like that tilt-the-world spin. I don't know what's going on with that, but hey, man, 2 points is 2 points. Boy, Chad got beat bad on that one. Auburn's in for a fight. They're going to have to make a mental adjustment or they're going to lose this game. Okay, fine. All right, guys, first segment, we got to give it to Vanderbilt, right? I mean, is that fair? I thought they played better that segment. That's 3 segments in a row now. Let's see, Desperado says we won't beat Vanderbilt or anybody playing like this and not thinking we have this game in the bag. Yabo says we're letting them do whatever they want in the paint, which is bizarre. You're right, but it's crazy. I would never, ever have thought that would be the case. By the way, rebounding is 21. They're up 3, so 21-18. 21-3. Okay. Man, that's just 21-18 to be up 3. Guys, they are not tall at all. Like, this is just crazy. Auburn has got to play bigger and play longer. Got to do it, man. Can't get intimidated by these guys. Shit. All right, I'm getting these second half stats popped up here. It takes a little bit longer for me to populate these, but I just pulled them through. Uh-oh. I hear an administrative assistant yelling at the dog down there. He's in trouble. Glad it's not me, bro. So sorry, Charlie. Vanderbilt 15-11 scoring in this half right now. And look at that. I don't think we've ever seen it. Now, again, very small sample size, but you look at points per possession, bottom right there. Vanderbilt's at 2.1. Jeez. I don't think I've ever seen that. Now, it's one segment. One segment. I mean, Auburn at 1.5 is not bad, but jeez. 5 rebounds to 1 this half. That's great. 1 assist, 1 turnover for Vandy. 1 assist, 1 turnover for Auburn. Auburn has 2 blocks and a steal. Auburn's 4 of 5 from the floor. They're 5 of 8 from the floor. Huh. That's interesting. Can't be mad about Auburn shooting there. But what you can be upset about is the second chance points. Vanderbilt has 7 in this half, guys. 1 segment. 7? 7? My God. Auburn still doesn't have a fast break point in this game. Let's see. Feel like a stranger wants Taha, Denver, Miles. You guys are still clamoring for Kai Howard. I have no idea why. Miles at 3, Chaney, and whoever wants to nut up at 5. I will never understand the way that you guys clamor for Kai Howard. I will not. I just don't. There's like some kind of it's like I feel like you're speaking Greek. I think it's one of those deals where you guys are kind of like placing. You know, Auburn needs somebody so bad that you just kind of let him become that specter. I can remember it being like that with Sean White. years ago where it was like, Sean White's going to be awesome. Not you feel like a stranger. You didn't do that, but there were some other folks on the board that were just like, oh, my God, Sean White is going to be the guy. He was in the Elite 11. And it was like, it was at a time when Auburn really needed a quarterback. And so everybody just thought he was going to play like Tom Brady. There you go. There's Janai with a bucket. And he sucked mostly. And everybody was disappointed because he wasn't what everybody thought he was going to be, I'm telling you. Travis J says, Jay, I'm telling you, Jakai is worth the hype. As an athlete, he's amazing. He might be the most talented athlete at Auburn. Him or Tahad. But until he gets his emotions in check, I don't see how he can even function as a player. Like, he's just freaking out every possession. Like, there's a nice turnover right there. Oh, my God. Chaney did everything right on that possession, on that transition play. He put the ball up ahead of him. He was trying to get to the rack as fast as humanly possible. And just, got fouled from behind. Let's see. Yabo says, I just feel like I saw so much raw talent from Kai, and Bruce is the great whisperer. He is. So if anyone can bring it out, it's BP. First of all, great point on BP being a whisperer because he's an amazing psychologist. He's really, I think that's the most amazing thing about him, actually. But he also he expects the player to do some things too. To kind of hold up his end of the bargain, so to speak. And I don't think Jakai has satisfied BP in that manner in ways that Chad does and always did. I mean, Chad, he gets emotional, but he understands the line between respect and disrespect. And Kai doesn't have a grasp on that one yet. And I, as a coach, I just don't think you can trust a player like that. Another second chance opportunity. God bless, man. Way too much of that going on. Way too much of that going on. And Vanderbilt just gets full credit for that, man. They're fighting hard, and they're just fighting harder than Auburn is right now, period. Chaney from 3. He likes shooting from here. That's a splash city.
Splash.
He likes those wing threes. He don't get many opportunities to do that, but he likes them. And I also give credit to Janai there. He felt like the offense was getting stagnant, so he just started kind of driving just to kind of be an auger, and that was enough. That was a good defensive stand from Chad right there. And that was a terrible shot from Vanderbilt. Good golly, Miss Molly. Rob says we lose Kai if we don't start giving him some shots, my guy. I would be absolutely floored if Kai was here next year. I give it 2%. I just don't, when you're disrespectful, I just don't see how you can stay. And I think in a lot of other teams, a lot of other Auburn teams, it would have been a huge problem with Kai being the way he is. But this team is so full of fully formed men that it just kind of goes off their back like water on a duck's back. Hey, Taxman says he's not an Auburn man. No, he is, but he just needs to grow up, man. Oh, Chaney with another drive. Look at that. That was a long drive for him. Getting those long legs spread out. He's like a spider. Like daddy long legs out there. Vanderbilt bringing some good passing tempo of their own here. Yeah, just let Tanner do whatever he wants to do, because I promise you he's not going to hurt you. I don't understand what was going on there. Yabo, a fan of Chaney on that drive. That was a very nice drive. I like that one. Mike says entitled children should leave ASAP. I don't want to go that far, but you're not. I also would not tell you that you're wrong. Okay, so that was a satisfying defensive stand from Auburn. I don't exactly understand what happened, but bottom line is they didn't even get a shot, some kind of a foul. Chaney!
He's on fire!
Cheney, here he goes again. Hit the 3 earlier. Had that great long drive, a hop, skip, and a jump, we'll call it. And then he just pulls up and hits a little floater right there. He's on a 7-0 run. Boy, Cheney balling up, man. Remember 2 games ago, he was a mess. He's a little bit better in the last game. He's playing great now. Chad got beat again, guys. Don't let him score that. Boy, Chad's defense has not been very good. He's usually a good man-man defender. And he's just kind of been a little bit of a late arrival on the scene and comes in a little too hot. And they just zip past him on the baseline. Maybe Cheney feels empowered. I mean, look at Cheney. This is not the Cheney we usually see. This is a Cheney who's playing like Charles Barkley, dude. Holy shit, man.
Boom shakalaka.
He's off his ass right now. This looks like, seriously, like Barkley right here. I know he's not Charles Barkley. I'm not trying to say that. He's playing with the confidence of Charles Barkley, which you never see from Cheney. He just feels really motivated right now. Like he feels like he's the man. And they just been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and trying to get him to feel that way. Like every time he gets on the court to feel like he completely belongs and should dominate. And I think he still has some of that UAH attitude in his head where I'm moving up a big way and I got to prove myself. And Auburn's like, you're past that. You've already proven yourself. Now you need to fly, you know? And he's playing. Boy, he looks great tonight. He may end up being the saving grace in this game, which I would not have expected. I'm not shocked, but you guys know how it is with him. I mean, he tends to be a little meek, like not physically, but just doesn't assert himself as often as you'd like to see. And boy, tonight he's certainly doing that. He's playing some big boy basketball tonight. All right, fresh stats coming up for the second half, and a little spoiler alert. Auburn won that segment by a margin. Let me kill those. Got some more coming over, and these are just the second half stats. So Auburn now has a 4-point lead in the second half. Let me rephrase that, 6-point lead. And if you say, hey, man, 23-17, what are you doing, JG? It's just the second half. Just the second half stats. See, Chip's fired up. He says, there's that run. Now play some D and RB. Oh, yeah. Yabo says, Cheney is usually a teddy bear, but that grizzly seems to have shown up tonight. Yeah, he's definitely eating him up. And Auburn now has its first fast break point. It has one fast break point, which was the one free throw that Cheney got after getting fouled on the attempted finish on the drive. I feel like a stranger jumping in with a super chat, my man. This looks like the Cheney that showed up when Broom was out. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. How he was such an animal right there. Yeah, he's on a different level right now. Looks like my the chat on the screen there hangs every now and then. I'm not sure why. Thank you for that. Feel like a stranger. I just refreshed that applet, I guess is what it would be. Scott says Florida is now up 16. Wow. So Florida was, I think, down 1 at halftime at Mississippi State. Now they're up 16. Wow. They do have some flammability the way that Auburn does, too. Florida's a good ball club. As we learned. AU Texan says, I think Broom is still out, but he's in there right now. You've got Cheney and Broom working together, plus Miles, Tahad, and Chad probably at, well, yeah, I guess you're playing Miles at 2 right now. Boy, Cheney trying to size that guy up to see if he's going to play him to his right or his left, and he played him to his right, and I thought Cheney might have driven baseline to his left and tried maybe a right-handed finish, but he didn't feel confident enough. Interesting. Chad is getting just killed on those, man. Man. He's just getting killed baseline. That must have been the fourth time we've seen tonight where he gets killed baseline. He didn't overrun that, though. He just got beat. Not a great pass from Chaney to Janai. Ooh, Janai, that was a truck stop right there. That was a just literally ran that dude over. Said, we're going right here to the bucket, and you're coming with me, homie. Too easy, man. Taxman, I know you feel the same way, bro. It's just too easy. Vanderbilt getting layups out of the quarter court, really? Ay, ay, ay. I don't like where this is going. This is too low. The shot clock's too low. Tahad, oh my gosh.
Splash.
I mean, jeez Louise. What a play, man. Yeah, I didn't like that. Just too much googly moogly on that possession. And then Auburn gets bailed out, I guess you could say, with a great shot from Tahad to just splash it. So he'll come back. He'll be going for a 4-point play on that one. So that was pretty big. We're not quite at a segment. I think Vanderbilt called a timeout on that one. We still got 9:19 to go, so the third segment remains in flux right now. Auburn, by the way, has 3 segment wins. Vanderbilt has 3 segment wins, and they tied 1. So it's kind of where we're at right now. But Auburn's latest segment win, which was segment 2 of the second half, was a landslide. So that's got Auburn ahead by a lot. Chip says, I didn't like where it was going, but I like where it went. Just like they drew it up, Patrick says. Just like they drew it up. This is Tahad. Here, man. Just put that one up and draw a foul and fall down and hit the free throw. That's what we really need from you here. Desperado says, Jay, put your eyes on Chad on offense. I wouldn't be watching him as much on offense. Probably I'm watching the ball a little bit. But defensively, he's not getting it down. Look at that. They're using in that Bush's Best commercial. They were using one of my favorite fonts, which is Interstate Regular. Love it. It's a great font. Let's see. Small Victory says Chad is literally standing on perimeter with hands on knees and head dipped. And Desperado says Chad is about to get benched. I'll go back and look at it. I mean, it's on my DVR. Assuming I could get there. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'm watching him right now. You're absolutely right. He is like immobile. I don't understand what he was going on there. Now, he's the first guy over to help Tahad up. But you're right. I don't know what that was about. That was weird. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what he was doing up there. I don't know if he was tuckered out or he didn't look like he was hurting because he came right over to pick up Tahad when he got fouled. But how do we start talking about Stone Temple Pilots? Solo Tigre said, I prefer Interstate Love Song. And CJ says, great song solo. All right, let's see what we changed up here. Turtle is in the game. We got a Turtle sighting plus Simo. So we got a lot of explosive players here. Hey, what's up, bro? You want to come say hello? Oh, my God, dude. Oh, my God. You want to come say hello? I was hoping the Maverick would come say hello to you guys, but a little hyper. It's a little hyper right now. Do you want to come say hello? Hey, where you going? Oh, don't hit your head, bro. There he is. Say hi. Say hi to everybody, Mav. All right. Go see your mommy. There we go. All right, so Tahad hit that free throw, so I got to bounce that up to 63, obviously. And Vanderbilt got a bucket. Locked On says, get the pug. Locked On, a fellow pug enthusiast. Him and his wife. I was going to say her name. Well, if I don't say your name, then anyway, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to out people. Chip says pug sounds. All you hear is. Yeah, great dog, though. What are you doing, bro? He might be a Vanderbilt fan because, he has that kind of gold and black are his favorite colors. Blake R says, I like the black pugs. We like any pug. We like all pugs. We've had pugs. That's the only dog we've ever had. Was a pug. We had Doug and Howie and now Maverick. All right, Dylan at the line. Splashed his first one. Looked great doing it, too. Hey, stop rubbing your balls on the carpet, bro. Jeez. There it is. Dylan calmly steps to the line and hits 2. Nice. All right, so Auburn up 10. Auburn definitely has come to life in this segment for sure. They had a great segment the last time, but they've continued rolling with it. Chip says, Dylan be stroking that's what he be doing. The guy's a lyricist, I'm telling you. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Simo might be hurt. Dude, Dylan with an absolute swat right there. My God. He wasn't even on that guy. Looks like Simo kind of got caught up in the wash there with that dude falling down. Might not be too bad, though. Nah, maybe this is where Jakai comes in. No? Oh, geez. What the hell happened there? Somebody fell down or something for that out-of-bounds play underneath that Vanderbilt just cashed in on. Mike 7677 says, dude, pug slobber. Mine doesn't really slobber. He just, snorts and licks all the time. Our first pug slobbered, though. Oh, it was a great drive for Miles Kelly. He just didn't finish it, man. Look at Turtle. Look how hard he's coming back. Look, you see how hard? That was a dead run from Turtle right there. You never have to worry about his investment in the game. I promise you. He'll bring it every minute he's out there. I know he's not an awesome player, but. Oh. I hope they got a picture of that. With Dylan went over that guy's back and he landed thumbs up trying to get the hold up. That was amazing. That was amazing. Great effort from Dylan. I don't know if you can be that big and go over somebody's back like that, but you know how it goes. Oh, my goodness. I thought that when they got that left side of the court open for CBM, I thought for sure he was going to be able to put that one to the house. So I'm going to give Auburn that segment as well. So Auburn's got back-to-back segments for the first time in this game that they played well. All right. Where are we at in the game here? We're at, 8-minute mark. Let's just go back to the regular stats now. And we'll finish it out with the main stats. It's been a tighter game than I thought it was going to be. Tighter game than I thought it was going to be. At least Auburn's been able to push it out a little bit here and get some space, some breathing room a little bit. mostly due to Chaney having that otherworldly performance there for a minute. These are the overall numbers here. So Auburn's shooting 73% this half, 11 of 15 from the floor. They're shooting 10 of 18, so they're happy with that too. Vanderbilt is. They're plus 8 rebounding, which if Cassidy P were here, he would be very, very pissed to see that. I don't. There's just no excuse for that. Vanderbilt is a good rebounding team, but they're not big, and so I think if you just say, hey, man, I'm going to win the rebounding battle myself in this game, and everybody else takes that attitude, then you can win by 10 on the rebounding front, and Auburn has not done that. 11 offensive rebounds for Vanderbilt's a joke. My man, Abby Kren, is in the house. He says, make the layup, Chad. It was a contested layup, but, yeah, that's one you feel like he's got to be able to hit. 28. Look at that, dude. Jalen Carey has 10 boards himself off the bench. Auburn's top rebounder is Dillon with 4. He has 6 points and 4 boards. 2 assists and no turnovers, which you love to see. Also 2 of 2 of the line you love to see. 2 blocks and 2 steals you love to see. So he's having kind of a vintage, well, I shouldn't say vintage. He's having a Dillon 2025 game. These are the kind of games that he's been putting up, and I think this is the kind of player he is. I wish he was coming back for another year. Yeah, that's the thing. Ambitious Engineer says, love Miles, but he's got to get better at finishing in traffic. He does so many things well. Finishing at the rim is not one of them. I don't know. Stupub says this is exactly the game he expected. Nice. Let's see. Ephesians says, just a reminder to drive the dang basketball. Need buckets and run clock in this one. A little bit of football strategy in that one, but I think it would work in this situation. Yeah, just keep that, have deliberate possessions that take up 30 seconds each time and just kind of grind this bad boy out. Vanderbilt is shooting the ball at a nice clip in this half. It's a great recovery from Miles right there. Another offensive rebound. I think that's 12 now. Another offensive rebound. That's 13 now. Now Janai's out of bounds. It's going to be another fucking shot. Another reset. Like Janai caught the ball and goes. That's funny. All right. You pretty much got your number one team in there except for Chaney is in for Dillon, although that's not really a step down. I mean, just a little different strategy, a little different flavor. But this is pretty much your top group right here. Top group for today, anyway, with Chad out. Come on, Denver can't. You can't finish a ball in the SEC from right here. Come on now. I got swatted. Feel like a stranger says, feed Chaney. He's been the best. I think, well, no, Denver has been, but Chaney's been huge in this half. 16 points on 7 of 8 shooting. Unbelievable, man. Talk about efficiency. All right, Denver at the line where he's a 2 or 93% free throw shooter. I think he went 2 of 4 at the line the other day, though. I said earlier on that ad that Interstate Regular was that font. It was actually Interstate Condensed. I'm reminded because it's the font that I use for my score numbers up here. Such a great font. It sounds like if you think to yourself, hey, that sounds like a former newspaper layout guy. Well, guess what? That's what I used to be. Part-time. I used to love laying out newspaper pages. It's just a passion of mine. That guy has such a weird shooting motion. He shoots it and he pulls his hands back like he's afraid to touch the ball. Another offensive rebound that Vanderbilt got. God almighty, they're going to finish with 20 in this game. They have 15 offensive rebounds in this game. 15 offensive, 17 defensive. The Auburn Tigers have 7 offensive rebounds and 15 defensive rebounds. They're getting killed. They're minus 10 on the boards right now. Vanderbilt has 7 assists and 11 turnovers. Auburn has 8 assists and 7 turnovers. Yabo is wondering how many points it takes to win. I would say 76 will win this game. I'm going to write that down. Chaney with another bucket. Continuing to play. He's going to be player of the game. He's caught up to Denver at this point. Been absolutely massive in the second half. Oh. Miles about to get himself out in transition, and they called a foul on Tahad. Let's see. Oh, they're not going to show the foul. I'm not sure Chaney would get away with this with Pat Adams officiating. I think they would have said that he dipped his shoulder too much, although I still think that would not have been the right call, but I think they call that a lot of times. Feel like a stranger says, feed him. He's definitely worth the opportunities tonight, I believe. It's just my opinion. That is just ridiculously easy. Taxman, I know you're feeling the pain on that drive by Vanderbilt where nobody stepped to the ball. These are just fundamental defensive screw-ups, man. I don't understand. Like, Tahad definitely was asleep there, and then Janai's, the backside help, was asleep too. Kind of back to what D-Lucky was saying earlier, just watching too much. Too much watching. All right, we reset. 69-59. 5:32 to go. Oh.
Boom shakalaka.
Assist to Tahad, who fed Janai for the flush. 71-59, the Auburn Tigers lead. We'll see. You got Chad back in there. You switched him out for Miles, it looks like. No, Miles is still in there. I think Chad might have blocked that shot right there. Oh, there it is again. There we go with Miles not finishing at the rim again. He split the defenders in the lane. It was brilliant. And then he doesn't get the ball into the hole. Miles is killing me with the lack of finishing, dude. Out of bounds underneath. That's somewhere where Auburn usually thrives. Oh, Janai's going to... Boy, that was going to be a vicious slam had he not gotten fouled from behind on that. Yabo says, put the ball in the hole. You're right, sir. Can't win a game if you don't put the ball in the hole, man. CJ now thinks that Denver's got an injured ankle. I didn't see anything happen on that end, so I don't know. Yeah, highlight deprivation is what Chip's calling it. Yeah, I was so frustrated not be able to see Miles split that defender in the lane and just didn't put it in the hole. All right, so Janai steps up and hits both of those free throws. That's nice. Auburn's now at 73-59, 4:40 to go. Small Victory says, my brother complained about Miles at Georgia Tech because that guy, but they depended on Miles to drive too. He was a do-everything guy for them at Georgia Tech. And he, mixed results on that one. They weren't very good. He sure got a lot of opportunities. Oh, my goodness. Almost an amazing alley-oop, but Janai didn't get it in. I don't think the pass was right where he needed it from Chaney. Dr. D. Lucky says, yeah, I told you that's the Tanner guy. Let him shoot, man. That's a good guy to have shooting. Another missed layup. D. Lucky says it was just kind of a minor thing. Doesn't think it's a big deal for Denver. Look at Blake Mashalit coming out to congratulate his boys coming off the court. I like that. Good teammate. Ambitious says we are so ass at finishing. I want to defend the team on that one, but I can't. Auburn now 5 of 11 at the rim. Well, technically they are 7 of 14 at the rim because they're 5 of 11 on layups and 2 of 3 on dunks. Vanderbilt is 11 of 20, but overall it's either 13 of 22, so approximately the same distribution. Stupep says that's 4 points we lost on shots we missed right at the rim. Spicy P says he's pretty sure that Chad might have changed shoes at halftime. Ambitious Engineer is calling it now. Janai is not going to get National Player of the Year. You heard it here first. D. Lucky says he's going to send email some George Mikan drills to Bruce. Our finishing sucks. George Mikan, of course, the outstanding, I think of him as a center for the Minneapolis Lakers and also later for the Los Angeles Lakers. Small victories, JG. All I can hear from the first half of the season, before South Carolina anyway, was how automatic Broom was at layups. Like 80%. We used to joke about it, right? Broom with his left hand inside of 10 feet was an 80% shot, and we just can't say that anymore. It just hasn't been that way for a little while. Looks like this Kentucky-Tennessee game is getting wild and woolly. I feel like these should always be wild and woolly. Going all the way back to Allen Houston, Wade Houston taking on Kentucky, the 93 Kentucky team with Jamal Mashburn. Pretty good. See, Scotty P says Chad definitely changed something about his sleeves or his shirt or something. Trying to get that negative juju out of there, I guess, one way or another. Man. Let's see what we got coming out here. Chaney going to come out here. Looks like Denver's coming on. He's checking in, so he looks like he's going to be okay, like Dr. D. Lucky said. Miles is going to sit out this segment, which means they're going to be going with Chadley. I mean, Chad looks fine to me. He just not – the numbers sure don't look good, but his finishing hasn't been very good, and his defense hasn't been very good. But he looks fine. This is the guy, number one, who shoots the ball and pulls his hands back real fast. Like somebody told him, hey, man, you can only hold on to the ball 3 seconds or something, and he's trying to hit that second one, though. That was a good diagnosis from Chaney on the inbound. Vanderbilt did a good job of double teaming where the ball usually goes. He just calmly waited for that midcourt guy to kind of step forward. Smart. Another parabolic pass from Chad Baker to Janai, who got it back on his third attempt. But regardless, the ball goes in. That's 2 points. 75-62. I said that I think 76 wins it. So for me, Auburn is right on the edge of clinching this game. Janai was... did a nice job of not contacting when he got up in the air. Now you just need to grind it. Just wear them out. So now I'm going to go back to the line. Oh, he's having some words. All right, he has a chance to go over the JG random how many points you have to win the game. Look at this. Janai's going to actually end up having some decent numbers here, which is crazy because he really, although he's been better in the second half, this has not been a good game for him. Just hasn't been a good game for him. But he has hit his free throws. And he is showing more, assertiveness, I think, on the scoring end. Let's see. AU Taxman asks, didn't Dr. D. Lucky go to med school with Doc Dumpsta? D. Lucky says, AU Taxman, we was in Shitta Demo school together. Same thing. Shitta Demo. Oh, man. All right, I just said Janai gets his free throws, and he missed that second one. But Mr. Cheney, I got the offensive rebound. Look at Chad. He's literally standing out of bounds. And BP, he's trying to say he's not out of bounds. I don't understand. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen right there. He's standing out of bounds, and he's trying to tell him that he's standing in bounds. That was funny. 76-62. Auburn is at the number, the key number, 76. Cheney's going to get a tie up here. That's going to go Auburn's way. Hey, you got to give Auburn credit here, man. They turned it on. Absolutely turned it on there after getting walloped coming out of halftime. And around the 16-minute mark, when they made their first substitutions of the half, is when things started turning around, and it just kind of got everybody going. Cheney had that amazing run where he scored 7 or 9 points in a row for Auburn, which is unusual for him. And that seemed to get everybody just kind of lathered up, and they've just kind of been pushing it a little bit further out, little by little. Oh, boy. Janai with a boom.
Boom shakalaka.
Just kind of sidestepping out of that screen, and he's wide open to the bucket, man. 78-62. The Auburn Tigers are really putting it on him now. And the Auburn witnesses lustily account their approval as Mike Burgomaster watches on, satisfyingly, I'm sure. Janai's going to end up having numbers, man. That's the crazy thing about this game. He is now 6 of 15, 17 points, 6 boards, 3 blocks. So he's going to end up having like a solid statistical night. Feel like a stranger again. Super chat number 1 for Vandy looks like Milli Vanilli. Cheney inspired Broom. Dr. D Lucky sounds like a trombone player in Parliament Funkadelic. My man. I don't know if D Lucky is a fan of that type of music. He may be or he may not be. We haven't had a lot of talks about it. Aside from the fact that he definitely respects Eazy-E, as he should, as we all should. Rest in peace. Rob says no double-double. Yeah, I see that as unlikely now. He's going to need 4 more rebounds. It's probably going to happen. But 78-62, I feel pretty good about that. Considering the way the first half was, it's just really nip and tuck, and Auburn pushed it out a little bit there. Oh, my God. One of my reporter friends said apparently the AP, I don't know, this could get political, so I won't talk about it. Let's see. Melee says Auburn by 15 like I called despite the onion-skinned biatches. Onion-skinned. Dude, sometimes onions can be tough, man. As someone who cuts onions about 4 times a week, I can tell you that sometimes they can be a little tough. D Lucky says P-Funk all day. but I play drums. My brother is the trombone player. Oh, yes. Dr. D. Lucky. I love that we're calling him that now. It's amazing. I mean, I would trust him with any kind of medical diagnosis, honestly. I would go to him for stuff. Actually, I go to D. Lucky for certain stuff. Not really medical, but other areas of where I need sage advice from a fellow old. Well, I don't like this possession for it at all, but it's not going to matter. But that was a terrible possession. I was going to say a bad word. CJ says, I am also a trombone player. So CJ and D. Lucky's brother. Yet another offensive rebound and stick back for Vanderbilt. I know it's not really going to matter. But Lord have mercy, it's been bad today. This is ridiculous. 16 offensive rebounds for Vanderbilt, guys. 16. For a team whose tallest player is 6'7". I mean, it's crazy. Auburn is -8 on rebounding overall. 10 assists and 8 turnovers for Auburn, which is, whatever. Vanderbilt's 8 assists and 12 turnovers, so that's not super bad. They're 11 of 12 at the line. The Auburn Tigers are 11 of 15 at the line. Personal fouls, Auburn's been called for 15. Vanderbilt's been called for 14, so that's pretty close. Points per possession, Vanderbilt is 1.06. The Auburn Tigers are 1.279, so they're almost on par there. Of course, they have 78 points. That's pretty good. It's going to be Denver with 21, Janai with 17, and Chaney with 18. That's pretty much all the guys that are scoring. Tahad ends up with 9, assuming he doesn't get another bucket. But that was a 3-headed Hydra. Or is it just, would you just say Hydra? Is that redundant to say 3-headed? Ephesians says, is Vandy a tournament team? That's a great question. Let me look and see if they're one of the 13. That would probably get in. I got to look at Ken Palm for that. Yeah, I think they would get in right now. They're the 10th team right now in the SEC, 11, 12. So they're saying everybody, Oklahoma and higher. So they're saying Arkansas, LSU, and South Carolina would be the only teams out, with Georgia and Oklahoma being bubble teams. But Vanderbilt at this point, they're about to lose one, but at this point would be considered pretty much a lock to get in. Now they're at 500 in the league play right now. If they finish 8-8, I definitely think they get in, yeah. But I'd have to see what all they've got in the second half of their schedule. I don't know that much about it. Oh shit!
Boom shakalaka!
Chaney, look at Chaney. Look how happy he is, man. Sticking his tongue out, smiling, laughing, having a great old time. Having one of those days that they promised him he would have when he transferred from UAH. He said, we're going to make you a star, G. That's my guy Tanner right there. I told you. He got open to the rim and couldn't finish. That's what happens. Tahad was thinking about going for an end-to-end jam right there, I guarantee. And he looked up and saw BP saying, no. And he slowed down. Scotty P says, I'm dead. I think I was in the Auburn marching band with your dad, CJ. How about that? I don't know as though we've had Scotty P hang out with us at the one of the bunker events in Montgomery, even though he's a longtime supporter of the cause, so to speak. Madison C says they faffoed. They messed around and found out is what happened there. Beppo. Why would I say Beppo? Repo. Beppo says, favorite rapper, JGT, without a doubt. My favorite rapper is. Hold on. Easy motherfucking E. My man. There he is. Complete with his Compton CA cap. Absolute GOAT. Easy E. From Compton, CA. Also producer of Bone Thugs. And if you don't love the Crossroads, I don't know what's wrong with you. And also first of the month. Auburn just going to kind of grind this bad boy out. Chad decided he's going to take a long three because the shot clock was about out. So I said it was going to take 76 to win it. It actually was going to take 66. Well, that's not true. 67 to win it. So I missed it by a fair amount. See Scotty P and CJ talking about parentals. Well, not Scotty's parents, but Scotty himself. How about that? Making a little band connection right there. Boy, VP's still pissed, though. Yabo said I said 80, which is what we actually got, which you get half credit for that as far as I'm concerned. And Vanderbilt just going to add a couple of free throws here of no real consequence. To get it to 80-68, Auburn's just going to dribble this bad boy out as the Auburn faithful, the witnesses as they were. Get to watch Auburn finish off a good game. A game that I thought pushed them in a tough situation there where they come out of, or they're going into halftime. That game is in jeopardy. And then you come out of halftime and got knocked around a little bit. And Chaney went in there and absolutely brought it for about 3 or 4 minutes. And that got everybody else just fired up. And that was about it. Beppo says he had 80 as well, which is great. You guys, I'm telling you, it's one of the smartest chats in the entire internet. Let's see. Small Victory says Fish earlier predicted that Texas A&M would finish above Florida with how they're playing and the impact of the Alex Condon injury. How about that, huh? Blake R says, War Damn Eagle. Everybody, my man's got a week off from work, and look how fired up he is. He gets to start off his week with an Auburn win on the road. I feel like a stranger says Bruce recruiting transfers in the handshake line again. My man. Yabo says, watch for Chaney on the presser later. Going to be a good one, I think. Chaney and Denver, maybe. That would be good. Chaney would be a great guy. He's not a great talker necessarily. Like in front of a mic, I think he gets a little nervous about it. But, yeah, let's see. CDF says, went into a meeting up 15-0. I got to keep the D tight and not give up these consistent runs. My man goes into a meeting 15-0. Of course he did. I love it. Oh, yeah, let's get these final numbers up here so CDF can bask in the glory, or the glow, I should say, of this final one. This is a good one, man. I mean, Vanderbilt at home, they're a problem. And they really pushed Auburn pretty hard. And there was a point there where I wondered if Auburn was going to fold this bitch up and just finish it, and not get it done. Because it was going to require a pretty serious change in operational strategy and emotional investment. And, normally I think Auburn's got plenty of that, but lately I just been kind of wondering a little bit, and boy, that did not happen tonight. They did not let this thing linger. They just brought it, and I turned it around. Revenge jumps in, 80 on the road, and that weird gym is pretty good. We'll give an applause for that, both for Revenge Super Chat and also the overall effort to go into Memorial Gym and get that pretty convincing win. Vandy now 12-2 at home, as Chip notes in the chat. Let's see what numbers stick out here. 62% shooting in the second half for the Auburn Tigers versus 41 for Vandy. That definitely catches my eye. Auburn gets a +10 in the second half scoring. Auburn finishes 1.27 points per possession, which is just a hair below what they would like to have, which is 1.3. And then 1.06 for Vanderbilt, which is just a little bit high where they'd like to be on that too, but pretty close. Ravin shows up and says, "What up, fam?" Capital F. He's a hardworking man. He's also part of our working man crew, and we're glad to have him here with us. One of the pillars of the community. What else stands out here? Auburn going -8. Rebounding is not great. 11 assists on 30 buckets is not great. But 8 turnovers, for a game, not too bad. I think you can live with that. Vanderbilt finishes with 8 assists and 12 turnovers. They're probably not going to be too upset about that, considering the way Auburn pressured them. Ravin wants to know about the bunny percentage. Great question. It was not good earlier, but I will see what the final numbers tell us. The Auburn Tigers were 9 of 17 at the rim. That's 5 of 12 layups and 4 of 5 on dunks. The Commodores were 13 of 24 at the rim. That's 11 of 22 on layups and 2 of 2 dunks. So, neither team great at the rim, but Auburn actually had a better percentage. And I would imagine later in the game, like let's say in the last 5 minutes, it was better. Is that true? Desperado says Chad was the assist leader. Oh, my God. Is that true? He did 4 assists. Wow. 4 assists and 2 turnovers. How about that, man? So often it's Janai, who finishes with 2 assists and 0 turnovers. So you're happy with that. 3 blocks again for him. 17 points for Janai, despite a very, very poor first half. Probably the worst half we've seen from him all year, certainly, and maybe one of the worst halves we've seen from him all his career here. But he comes back from that and finishes with 17 on 6 of 16 shooting. So there's no problem with that. Mike 7677, who's been with us from start to finish today, says this was bigger than most of you realize. The idea being that, first of all, when you're in a title race as the number 1 team, every single time you're on the road, you've got to know that you're facing the world. You're facing the wrath of the world against you. It is true. And Vanderbilt, as Chip noted earlier, came into this game 12-1 at home. So to be able to stare down the trouble that Auburn stared down today, which was a very stagnant middle part of the game, and to put a foot down, really Chaney put a foot down and said, we're not going out this way, and then everybody else just kind of rallied around him. I think it's big. The thing is, I think some of the things we were talking about in the middle of the game really weren't resolved. Now, Janai, I thought, stepped up and played better in the second half, so that did change. But Chad was still kind of a negative, or a middle ground guy at best. He failed to score, 0 for 6 from the floor, 2 boards in 28 minutes. Now, he led the team in assists with 4, so that's good. But Chad is just an absolute zero in this game. Miles did not play well. He got outscored by Simo. That's probably not a good thing. T-Park says, thanks again, JGT. Big one up next. Oh, my God, how big is it going to be? This is going to be the biggest Auburn-Alabama game ever. In basketball. Sorry, I need to make that clear. I wasn't even thinking about football. It's strictly basketball. You're looking at 2 number 1s or a number 1 and number 2. I don't know how it turns out, but assuming that Alabama holds serve. And wow, that is going to be fun. That's going to be Saturday. I believe that's at 3 o'clock. Definitely got to take a look at that because I don't want to steer you guys wrong on that one. Yeah, 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock for our friends in the Eastern time zone. That's going to be on the main ESPN channel. So that's going to be absolutely edge. I hope that you guys, wherever you are, whether you're on the Gulf of America or you're all the way up there with on the border with our 51st state in Canada, you guys have a chance to watch that one and soak that one in. Real Deal, who will not be either on the Gulf or in Canada. He will probably be up somewhere in North Alabama when he watches that one. Says, looking good, JG. We're going to beat them Bammers on Saturday. We're going to give him a clap for that one. War Eagle, he says. Appreciate you, Real Deal. I'm glad that I'm glad to see you in the chat because sometimes I wonder if you're safe. You better not better not cross your wife. She means business. Ravin, whose wife also means business, although he's married to a different girl, says Chaney dropped the nuts. He sure did in this game. Absolutely huge in this game. He's played the game. Even though some could argue that, since Denver had 21 points that he was, but 9 of 10 shooting, 20 points from Chaney, 5 boards, 2 steals. Real Deal. I did say the other day I wasn't sure about where you were actually located because when I first met you, that was in Madison. But I realize just because you're standing in one place does not mean you are from that place, because there have been times in my life when I've stood on the soil in Maine and I've stood on the soil in California, and I was from neither of those places. So there it is. Real Deal says the wife reading them spells. To be very clear, I don't think she looks like a witch. She just scares me like a witch. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it there. I just don't want to turn into like a hippopotamus tomorrow or whatever. Wake up with a horn on my head or something because I said the wrong thing. Let's see. What do we want to do? Letter grades. Do we want to do letter grades for the boys? Denver Jones, 21 points on 7 of 10 shooting. 0 assists. 4 turnovers. Ball handling could have been better. I would give him a B. As a shooter, he gets an A+. As a ball handler, he gets a C. So we're going to give him a B. Janai, weird game. Terrible first half. Not an amazing second half, but a good second half. 17 points, 7 boards, 3 blocks. I'll give him a B+. I thought he fought through some stuff on that one. Simo, 4 points on 2 of 2 shooting. Played 13 minutes. Didn't make an ass out of anything. I give him a B. Miles Kelly, I'm going to have to give him probably a C- in this one. Mike says, respectfully disagree, Commodore. The biggest game between Auburn and Alabama, will be in this year's Final Four. Well, what I meant to say was, are you good? Courtney, are you good? What happened? God, sound like an explosion down there. Let's see. Real Deal says, when is the next Huntsville meetup post basketball season? I haven't worked that out yet. I need to figure that out because I love hanging out up there. I love going to. I know GW would definitely come hang out with us, but at Faith's place, I forgot what it's called, but I love Faith. She's good folks. Dylan Cardwell, for me, I pretty much just want to give him an A every game because of the way he hustles. 6 points on 2 of 3 shooting, 4 rebounds. That's it. 2 assists, no turnovers, 2 blocks, 2 steals. I'm still giving him an A. I don't care. Tahad Pettiford, 9 points on 3 of 6 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, 3 rebounds. That's pretty good. 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal. I give him a B+. Jaheim Hudson, a.k.a. Turtle. Didn't play enough. 4 minutes. Can't really assess him. Chad Bacon Lasagna, 0 points on 0-6 shooting, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals. I don't know, guys. I don't like it. C-. And Chaney gets a big, fat A+. Absolutely huge. Let's see what Chip says. He's got an A for Denver, a B for Janai. Chaney gets an A+. I completely agree. Chad Bacon Lasagna gives him a D-. Miles gets a D. I thought Miles' defense was good, but his finishing was bad today. Dylan gets a B. Of course, I give him an A all the time just because I love what he does. Tahad, C+. It's a little lower than me. And then Simo gets a B+, which I didn't think he... Yeah, well, we're pretty close. Madison says CBM goes to detention. He's going to go in there and get one of these.
I want to wrestle you so freaking bad.
Let's see. CFB Addict says, I got to be a road witness tonight with my son at Memorial Coliseum. Ward M. Eagle. That's awesome, man. CFB Addict, of course, taking the chopper. I think he actually flies to an airport, maybe in Murfreesboro. I'm not sure. Maybe he goes to the main airport there in Nashville, and then he takes the chopper in. And at least the last time I saw him, he landed on right there, either on top of or right next to the gym, and he got shuffled in there. Apparently, he's a pretty well-known guy, so essentially royalty. So I don't know. AU Taxman asks about layups for Vanderbilt. Let's see. For the Auburn Tigers, it was 5 of 12 on layups tonight. For the Vanderbilt Commodores, they were 11 of 22. 11 of 22 on layups tonight. I feel like we are watching the biggest meltdown in college basketball, which is you can't make layups. I know that Auburn struggles, and we watch more Auburn than anything else, but like every time, well, not every time, but most of the time when Auburn does this, the other team's doing the same thing. The key difference was Florida. That Florida game, Auburn missed a lot of layups, opportunities at the rim, and Florida didn't. So that was the one game where it didn't go like that. Small Victory says, Chad has his hands on knees, yet finds energy for encouraging after play. Riddle me this. We can't figure it out. I don't know what that possession was. I was baffled. And I'd like to actually ask BP about it when we get the press conference with him on Thursday. But I don't know if it's going to be relevant again. Since the Auburn Tigers won, I will then adorn the Auburn Tigers chain. And I'm going to have a little bit of Peerless. I don't care what High Cotton says. If he thinks I'm a drunk or whatever, I haven't had a single sip since we've been doing the show, but since they won, and since I am of drinking age, I'm going to go ahead and have a little bit. This is Peerless Single Barrel. I'm a huge fan of anything Peerless from Louisville, Kentucky. I am from Louisville, Kentucky myself, so we have that in common, me and this bourbon. We have about the same shelf life. Chip says, "Dawn that shit, JGT." Abbo says, "A chain for Cheney." My man, that's pretty. I like that. That's good. That's good. Mike says, "For those of you watching the Bammers, is Nate trying to replicate Wimp Sanderson's ugly wardrobe?" Yeah, the answer is yes, he is. I covered Faulkner University in the NAIA Final Four. Well, the whole tournament really. In 2001, I think it was. And Scott Sanderson was the head coach, which is Wimp's son. And so I was covering it for the Advertiser every game they played, whatever it was, 5 or 6. And Wimp was doing the radio every game. So we sat together. And, man, that was the first time I'd ever met Wimp. I have not seen him since then. And, wow, that was a whirlwind. He would literally get under the table, under the scores table, and refuse to watch when the game got bad. I mean, I watched him. He sat next to me, crawled under the table. Terrence says, JG, you got some ID on you? My man. I just have my phone, sir. Is that enough? It's got a picture of my wife on it. Blake says, High Cotton can get forked. Drank that sheet, Jay. I promise you, Blake, that I am a drinking age. It tastes good. Tastes real good. Ephesians says, how many losses wins the SEC? I believe that you can tie at 14-4 and you win it at 15-3. Is where I think things are going to fall. So let me see if they have updated on. Yeah, they have on KenPom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the schedule from KenPom. I've already screwed it up, which is customary for me. And we're going to take a look at these games and try to figure out, exactly where this is going to play out. Where and how. Now that we've done our letter grades. All right, so this is the bottom, section of Auburn's schedule. And I completely cut off the schedule that KenPom thinks Auburn's going to have. Of the record. What a dumbass. 27-4, 15-3 is what KenPom believes Auburn will have. Now, you're looking at this going, JG, how do they get 15-3 when they've got Auburn winning every game? That's part of the algorithm. You've got to figure it out yourself. So that means to me, to win it outright, you can only lose 2 more. If you lose 3 more, you may still win it, but it's going to be a tiebreaker situation. I think Auburn's going to lose at Alabama. I do. I thought Auburn was going to lose to Florida. I got talked out of it. And I think Auburn's going to lose one of Kentucky or A&M. So to me, right there, you're good. Where you get into trouble is if you lose to Kentucky and A&M. So Chip says AU has to split Bammer and only loss at UK, which is that would also get it done. You just have to be careful that I think you're underestimating, I should say, Texas A&M. I think they're damn good, and I think they're going to be a real bitch to deal with down there. Terrence says worried about Auburn's roster next year. Losing a lot this year. There's a lot of belief that they're going to have more players back than you would think. I'll put it that way. Dylan ain't coming back. Miles ain't coming back. And Simo ain't coming back. And Janai's not coming back. But aside from that, I mean, you still got Denver can come back. Chaney can come back. Chaney's supposed to come back. Or can come back, I should say. Obviously, Tahad. I don't think Kyle will be back. You can still get some players back. It would be big to have Denver and Chaney back, have Chad back. Chad can definitely come back if he chooses to because he played in JUCO. So you still could get a lot of the dudes back. You're still going to have to go out and get a Janai, though. You're going to have to go out and get a banger in the post who gives you 15 and 10. You know what I mean? Like they grow on trees or something. I get it. But first of all, Auburn's been number one a lot of this year. I think they're going to kick ass in the tournament. And I think with that, I think their cachet is kind of improving, right? I think there's more kids that pay attention to Auburn, whether they're in New England or they're in California. And I think Auburn's brand is really at a peak right now. And I think they'll be able to pull dudes. I do. They've done pretty well in the portal. Now, we talked earlier about JPP being kind of a bust, but when you're out chasing 15 kids, you can't hit on all of them. So there you go. I think Auburn can win this with 3 losses in league play, and I think that's what they would clinch it with. So I think they lose to Alabama at the hangar. I think they lose one of Kentucky and Texas A&M, and then I think they clinch it with the win against Alabama in the regular season finale to get the conference championship, the regular season championship. But I will warn you that if that happens, there is absolutely nothing to be gained from Auburn making a big run in the SEC tournament because they're already going to be a number 1 seed. They may actually be the number 1 overall seed at that point. You're the SEC champions. You're the champion of the toughest conference in the country. You might as well just fucking do whatever you're doing in Nashville and be done with it. I mean, honestly, you'd rather come home and get rested and get ready to play. AU Taxman's starting some rumors. He says, I hear Cooper Flagg is on board for Team Bruce next year. He loves Bruce's position on the Palestine-Israel conflict. So he really wants to go over and hang out. Cooper Flagg, by the way, I learned yesterday, is from the state of Maine. Grew up like 20 miles from where my dad's at. Crazy. Had no idea. My dad is so clueless about sports. He'd just be like, really? Cooper Flagg? Who's that? He's that dude that plays for Duke. Oh, really? Cool. D. Lucky says we should only take 1 jersey to Nashville. That's one way to do it. That's one way to preserve. Maybe you could just do some different stuff in Nashville. I got an idea. How about this? They play their first game. They beat Georgia in the first round or whatever, by 17 or whatever. And the second game, tell the team they're actually off. Hey, you beat Georgia. You get an off day. They don't actually get an off day. And we'll meet you guys at 8 o'clock, and the kids show up at 6, and the game was at noon, and they forfeited, and they go, fuck it, I don't know. I don't care. That way you don't have to worry about it. The kids don't feel like they lost. You can just blame yourself and say, man, I'm a dumbass. My bad. I thought it would be funnier when I actually said it. Mike says, for those of you watching Texas and Bammer, does Mark Sears have an abnormally large alien head? Guys, Dr. D. Lucky would certainly know about cranium circumference because he's a doctor and he knows all these things. Chris M says, do we have to... Chris M, by the way, there he is, CJ's dad. Do we have to use Nike basketballs this next year, or can we stay with Wilson? That's a great question. For myself, I hope they stay with Nike, or I hope they go to Nike balls because I love the Nike basketballs. Now, Auburn seems to have a preference for Wilson, so we'll see how that goes. I will ask that question, though. That's a question that I can ask and get an answer to. It's interesting, though, because when Auburn's going to go on the road and I go into the practice gym, they always have the balls of the team that they're going to play. So, like, if you go to I don't remember what it was yesterday, though, but I think when you go to A&M, it's Nike. So they got the Nike balls out. If it's an Auburn home game, obviously you got the Wilsons out. I feel like there's another one in there, like Spalding maybe. I don't remember, but I like the Nike balls best. Chip, that's absolutely true. Does the home team pick the brand of ball? Absolutely. That's how it works. So whatever ball the home team wants is the one that you play with. And then Auburn practices with that ball in the days leading up to that game. Auburn's got, a full complement of each kind of ball. Kind of interesting. Blake is not a doctor, but he does acknowledge that Mark Sears has a very large cranium. It's all round like Sputnik. Who knew that we would talk about the Russian space program circa 1958 on this show? But yes, we will. Yes, we will. What year was Sputnik? I was damn close. It was launched into orbit on 4 October 1957, and I said 58. Sputnik. Stu Pup says Adidas does make a ball. The worst ball was at NC State in Raleigh a few years ago. I don't remember that one. I remember the game, but I don't remember that ball. I feel like a stranger says D. Lucky was the leading physician at Area 51 when not on tour with Parliament. Funkadelic. Diablo says Mark Sears got a potato head. Mr. Potato Head. Mr. Potato Head. Chip wants to know, will Auburn be practicing with goat balls leading up to Saturday? I like that. What else we got to look at? Ken Palm ratings, maybe? They probably haven't changed too much here. They still got Janai as the number 2 player of the year candidate. They still got Auburn ranked ahead of Duke. Let's see. Duke has their traditional terrible rivalry, mean, angry rivalry with California. Conference rivalry tonight. They're going to be playing the Cal Bowl Golden Bears. That's a game that tips off at 8 o'clock on the ACC network. So those of you who are in front of TVs probably seeing that right now. The Cal Golden Bears. I wonder if anybody plays for them anymore. Nobody I know. Losers. Not Jason Kidd, not Lamont Murray, and not Antonio, not Gates, Tony Gonzalez. Let's see. Justin wants to know when the Nike merch comes out. I don't think they're going to be able to do that ahead of time, so that's going to be in the summertime is what I imagine. I think that would be a breach of contract if it comes out, before the Under Armour deal's done. But I'm sure it's going to be, weird that we're going to have to reset everything we got, right? To get in with the new stuff. Under Armour out. Nike in. It's all part of it. I like another reference to Rocky Mountain Oysters. Rocky Mountain Oysters. Ronnie Millsap sang that, didn't he? Smoky Mountain Rain. Ronnie Millsap. Indeed. Let's say Mike says, can't get too mad or too against Mark Sears. He does love his mama and hides behind her skirts. I do know he's pretty tight with his mom. That's cool, man. Justin notes that changing the Nike will be tough, but it'll be nice to get a real cotton shirt. That is interesting. Solo Tigre says, I think it was Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh. I'm just learning about Joe Walsh now. I didn't know he was such a weirdo. Well, a lovable weirdo. Hey, man. Kind of talks like that. I didn't know he was, Eagles, when they were hitting their prime in the 70s, first of all, I hate the Eagles. And second of all, I didn't know anything about them. My dad was listening to Simon and Garfunkel and shit like that. He don't listen to the Eagles. My mom was listening to Elton John. Terrence says, enough singing, JGT. Don't want to get demonetized. I was on a workshop this afternoon with a YouTube influencer who was taking a few of us under his wing, just as like a partnership with YouTube to teach us more about streaming, which I learned zero from it today because he was talking about memberships and super chats and stuff like that. And he was like, you need to offer memberships. And I was like, bro, I think I'm good. These folks, I'm just glad they're here hanging out with me. Colby says, do you think there's any beef between the Auburn players and Holloway? You know, that's a great question. So I don't know if I would call it beef, because to me, beef is like when you're doing Kendrick and Aubrey stuff, like Drake, and you're just killing him. You know, I don't think anyone's like that mad at him, but I think they look at him like, get the fuck out of here. Like I think they don't respect him and they think he's a wuss. But I don't think it's like fighting words. I feel like a stranger says Elton John rules. He is very much a badass. I didn't realize how much of a stud he was until I saw his movie. Well, not his movie, but you know, the movie about him, which is called like Rocket Man, maybe. Really enjoyed it actually, and I didn't realize all those songs were his. he's a badass. But it's key. You got his writing partner, whose name escapes me now. It's disgusting that I can't remember his writing partner. He's a big part of it too. Bernie Taupin is his name. Let's see. Terrence says, JGT, play the Cliff Ellis CD. I don't want to get copyright struck, bro. But I do have it. I do have it. Yeah, I like it here. Do a little do that. He's got some soft shoes, Dave Odom does. Let's see. Kanuman showing up. My man. Kanuman is on a flight right now. He's in, I think, Singapore airspace. He says, huge win. We're glad to have you here, Kanuman. Absolute legend. I think we've had all the legends coming in here tonight. Terrence is Taupin. That's exactly right. Bernie Taupin. I think regular folks have no idea who that guy is. And I learned more about him while watching the movie, but it reminds me of like Dave Chappelle and Neil Brennan, where nobody knows who Neil Brennan is. And he co-wrote all that stuff on Chappelle's show that everybody gives Chappelle credit for. And Chappelle is a badass, but dude, Neil did great work too. I really want to do a book about that. Small Victories jumps in with a super chat, my man. Thanks for another great Drain, JG. Thank you for being part of it, my man. I can't do this without you. Thanks for the great Drain, JG, and Auburn fam. Here's to a Hoops Iron Bowl for the ages. Appreciate this and effort to make every single game. I appreciate you guys being here. I can't believe that we get up to like 100 on these games because, you know, we said for years, like, we're not going to do basketball because we had such a bad experience doing that Gonzaga game. I couldn't keep up with it. But I think we found a way to kind of keep it going. And I think our viewership peaks, you know, at halftime and right after the game ends. When people are just kind of looking for a little bit of reaction maybe. But appreciate most of you guys staying with me during the game and stuff just to kind of chat about Auburn and talk to you from a slightly different perspective. But, yeah, I'm surprised we've been able to make it work. Pocket Watch is in the house. He says Kanuman is still in Memorial Gym. Who knew? I did not know that. Kanuman says talking about Neil Brennan, is known as a comedian whisperer. He's the kind of guy that a lot of high-level comics call when they get stuck. Yeah, I really want to write a book about it. I mean, I'm dying to write a book about Dave Chappelle and Neil Brennan. I don't know if Chappelle would even help with that. Because I love Neil Brennan. He's a stud. Hugh is in the house as Bernie writes the lyrics and Elton does the music. There was a period of time, late 70s, early 80s, where they kind of broke up, I guess, where Bernie was not working with Elton and the music kind of got shitty, I think. And I think they both knew it. And I think Too Low for Zero, which came out in 83, which had I'm Still Standing, and I guess that's why they call it the blues. And maybe Who Wears These Shoes? Maybe that might have been the next record. But anyway, that's when they got back together, and you could tell shit gets going a lot better at that point. Terrence says, next year I got to get a basketball expert for halftime and post-game analysis. So somebody like Doc or Mac McGadney or somebody like that. I actually asked Chucky if he would help me get somebody like that, and Chucky just gave me the straight-up Heisman and said, didn't tell me no, just didn't help me. So I got to find a way to get hooked up with one of those guys. And the problem is that I'm always with you guys on the stream, so I'm never at the arena to talk to them and get their numbers and shit, you know? Like Fish is the guy I talk to the most, but Fish is on ESPN all the time. So, like, That's not going to help. I need to get somebody who watches every game. A former Auburn player watches every game and who would be entertaining on the air. That's what I got to find. Now, I got a long time to get it done. Let's see. Knuman says, as far as me writing this book, he says Neil would help. I'm almost sure he would help based on what I've heard him say. He is over it, and he and Dave are good, which is true. So maybe not as to stir anything up. However, I think he would help. Yeah, the book I would write isn't really to stir it up. It would just be kind of like their partnership but they'll never say who wrote what. Like, Charlie Murphy, or is Wayne Brady going to choke a bitch, or racial draft, or World Series of Dice, or I know black people, like they won't ever say whose idea it was, who wrote it. And a pocket says Ryan Powell would be a good one. Lucas Mon says Scotty P would do it. If that's true, I would definitely be interested in having Scotty P on. Now I didn't talk to him about this. The last time I saw Scotty P was pre-COVID, but it was at a game, and had a good talk with him. I did not talk to him about that particular project. But he's a bad man. He's a man of influence and respect in the real world. But Scotty P would definitely do it. Stu Pup says Frank Tolbert would definitely be good. He's got an extra finger to dial your number faster. I think of that all the time. When you see, every now and then on Reddit, you'll see somebody say, look, I've got an x-ray of somebody that has 6 fingers. And I'd be like, hey, is it Frankie Tolbert? Mike says Bernie and Elton were the greatest combo of lyrics and artists ever. I don't agree with that. It's hard to break up McCartney and Lennon. And, of course, Fletcher and Dave Mahan from Depeche Mode. But, they're good. They're absolutely amazing. Hall of Famers for sure. See, Hugh knows cocaine is a hell of a drug. So he knows. And Melee also knows with Ashley Larry. I told her I was going to take out the trash. Let's see. Knuman says next year just get Dylan. He'd be perfect. Interesting. Get Simeon Bowers, feel like a stranger says. I actually got along great with Simeon. That'd be a possibility. I don't know if he watches every single one. Jagger and Keith Richards, Terrence says. Blake R says the player haters ball might be my favorite. Well, guess what, bro? I got a soundbite for you.
Well. The most diabolical haters this side of the Mississippi.
Me and Jay Lee, absolutely. We thought that was probably one of the best. Ephesians says Anthony McLemore's killing it on YouTube. He would be a good one. Yeah, Anthony was, he's on a different level now. He is really, really bright. Good player. He reminds me of kind of Cheney. He has a Cheney attitude. Just happy to be here and good players, work hard. Stu Pup says World Series of Dice and the racial draft are such funny skits. They are super, super good, man. World Series of Dice. Leonard Washington. You want this role? You're going to have to shoot me. Okay. Damn, man. Come on, that's funny. Oh, feel like a stranger. There's always one, and it would be you, to say that Roger Waters and Gilmore are up there. Not saying number one, but up there. I have enjoyed so much Pink Floyd in my life. David Gilmour more so than Roger Waters, because the recordings that I listen to are after Roger Waters flaked out and left, but somebody was mentioned about on the Anthony McLemore thing. I think he's Terrence has put some water in Buck Nasty's mama's dish. Dude, the laughing that got in the actual sketch was real. Like he kind of ad-libbed that line, and they were all laughing at him like genuinely in that one. And Ryan S. says Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. You're right about that. Also, diversify your bonds. Anthony, though, he's on with, who's he on with? Is he on with Zach Blackerby? He's partnered up with somebody. I don't know. But yeah, he sure was a pleasure to cover at Auburn. And I just wish that he hadn't injured his leg that one year because, I mean, I'm sure he wishes it too. Yabo says, get Barkley on so I can tell how much I love him. He's a former player. Yes, he is a former player. You're right. That probably ain't going to happen. And I probably won't get Chuck Person on here either, although I like Chuck a lot. Although most of the time when I was talking to Chuck, I was talking shit at him about being a bitch in the NBA because I hated him. And he actually thought it was funny. I wasn't trying to mess with him. Ephesians says, no, I'm thinking about Zep. That's right, Zep Jasper. Who is on? Where does Anthony? Anthony, who's he up with? Let's see. Stupo says Bill Burr doing color commentary when Leonard Washington gets shot. He shot below the waist, so it can't be attempted murder. He knows the law. That is absolutely true. Shot him in the knee. It was his name was Quills Dinkins. Rodney Quills Dinkins. Anyway, Kaduman says we should never play a big player at USCE again. That's right. Run 5 guards and take the loss and nobody gets hurt, right? That would be the best way to handle it. Yeah, Chip wants to know if Courtney's hitting the wrap it up box yet. I can kind of feel it. Like she hasn't done it, but I can feel it. But usually when she hits that, it's because I've been drinking too much. Tonight, that really has not been the problem. High cotton really is not what I've been doing tonight. We just had one after the win. Derek Bird. Terrence. I love Derek Bird. I might have his number. Because I talked to him. Let me see if I got Derek Bird in here. I got Derek Bird's number. Oh, my God. Let me see if I can get... I wonder if D-Bird, does he think he pays attention? Because he went back up to... He's up in Michigan last time I saw him. Last time I saw him, he was back in Ypsilanti, where he's from. But Derek Bird is a great... Man, I might see if I can do Derek Bird. I love Derek Bird. Y'all would love Derek Bird, too, if you knew him. Because he's awesome. Kaduma says, Doc, so he goes by Julius now, but anyway, Doc, he's not awesome to talk to. He's cool. I don't know if he'd be great on the show. I don't know if he would be. D-Bird would be. Kanuman wants Abe Smith, the fill-in for Chris Porter. I think he wore number 40 back in the day. And Scotty Pullman's conciliary for sure. And Terrence remembers Derek Bird, kind of like he was like old school, like 3-and-D, right? Yeah, because D-Bird could definitely play defense, and he definitely was stroking threes. He actually hit the 3 that cut it to 1 in that game in Albany against Syracuse that Auburn lost by 1, but it was because D-Bird hit a 3 late. Man, what a pleasure he was to cover. Anyway, I guess we'll try to wrap it up there. Terrence, thanks you for the suggestion on that. And I think it's a good idea. I might need to get a couple guys, so it's not the same dude having to get stuck with me every single night. Because I think Alex, with with football, we always have Alex. But I mean, it's just like once a week. This can be more like twice a week. And if you get into the tournament, it can be like, 4 times in a week. So Mike says he misses Courtney. She's not gone. By the way, so we are starting to get the other bedroom set up as a studio, de facto studio. And so I think we have all our equipment ready to go. I would anticipate the Bourbon Blend being back going. I'd say within a month. And I know literally 2 dozen people care, but Ronnie Lamel, good question, Solo Tigre. So last time I talked to Ronnie, he was actually living in Scandinavia. So I'm not sure he would be great just from a telephone perspective. Another guy would be good, Lucas Hargrove, but I don't know if he's still going or not. Kenny Gabriel is going to say KG is great to talk to. But we might try Derek Bird. That's because he's old school and he seems wise. So we'll see if he watches them enough and if he cares still. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Don Properdicken wants the Bourbon Blend back. Quantez Robertson, a.k.a. Tez without a headband. I love Tez. He might be good, too. And Chip says he loves that Clayton Bigsby divorces his wife at the end of the sketch. That was a long setup for that great joke, but it was good. And also Blake R. is ready for the bourbon blend. Bourbon blend. Presented by Old Forester. That'd be great. All right, guys, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to wrap up the stream here. We're going to do the rundown on Thursday, I believe. We've got a press conference on Thursday also. And then we're going to be obviously streaming the hell out of this game Saturday. Probably will be here a little bit early. Y'all don't have to be. I would just love it if you guys were here, period. I won't call you late for lunch. Cassidy P says, I'm in. So sorry I'm late. How'd Zep do? Did we win? Wow, that was a really loud laugh. Sorry, guys. I don't know why it did that. And also, Kanuman loves the blend. We have literally dozens. The dirty dozen. Singular. Sacrifice wants to know, was Vanderbilt a quad one win? It was not. Not quite. But close. Auburn's racking them up at a crazy rate, though. So we'll do the rundown Thursday, press conference Thursday, obviously full coverage Friday, and then we'll be doing streaming a little bit early, probably on Saturday, to get ready for this showdown game. And I will be here. I don't know if I'll be drinking, though. People might be mad at me if I drink. Not you guys, but other people. So I don't want to be judged. But anyway, guys, thanks for checking out the show with me today. Nice win from the Auburn Tigers. And now we set up for this showdown inside the airplane hangar in Tuscaloosa. Cassidy P asked if the blend back. The blend is on its way back. We now have Maddie out. She's now out of the house officially, so we are repurposing her bedroom for the bourbon blend. So it shouldn't be too long now. Yabo says Vandy was a quad one win earlier. I don't think they are, but they may have snuck in there somehow or another. I'll have to update you on that one. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you guys. I will physically see you guys. Well, virtually, we'll see you guys on Saturday. Until then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Love you guys. Make great decisions. Peace.